That's a depressing vibe. Give me a second. Sure. Why not? What's up, Jenna? I do not want to use this deck. I used this deck earlier today. It was not the vibe. Perhaps we mix it up a little bit. What haven't I used in ages? Tarot. All of these suck. What do I have over here in the corner? Give me a second. You can come out to play. And this. There we go. What's up? We're very off schedule. I was supposed to be doing this live yesterday, but my health has not been so good this month, and every single time I get a leg up, I get kicked back down. I missed you guys too. Sorry I've been all over the place. I feel so bad. Like, half of me feels really bad, and the other half of me wants to be like, this is why I didn't have scheduled streams for so long, because life do be kicking me in my head sometimes. And I'm not really reliable with the schedule when that happens. I thought I was good. We did a sim stream yesterday on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, we're back into it. Like, we're on it. And then yesterday was just such a fucked up day for me. It's the dumbest stuff too. Like, to recap, I had like a emergency bill come up, so I had to like drop my Cameo price really, really low, to get a bunch done all at once, which is fine, but like, there's a reason why I don't work like that. There's a reason why my price is what it is, and why I don't like do that all the time, because I could probably make a lot more money if I like did cameos like that, is because I'm disabled, so like it packs a punch. A really bad punch, and I eventually like was on my ass from like burnout and exhaustion, which is fine. I know what I'm doing. Like, it was controlled burnout. Also, nothing to be done when you get like a surprise $400 bill, you know what I mean? So then I had to recover a little bit, and I got back up on my feet a little bit. I was in the middle of recovery. I went to go see my partner, who I hadn't seen for ages, and for some reason lost track of the days, so I planned to go over there on Monday to be back on Tuesday to stream, and I came back on Tuesday, and then just forgot that it was Tuesday and went to sleep, and woke up at like 8 and was like, well, there's my sim stream. And then after I missed the sim stream, I was like, yo, if you're falling asleep like that, perhaps you're still a little bit burnt out. So I skipped the second stream, and I was like, that's fine. We'll just be back on schedule next week. In between that week and the next week, I got a UTI that was so severe that I couldn't like sit down for more than 30 or 40 minutes without having to go to the bathroom. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going on stream when I'm gonna have to get up to pee every 20 minutes. That's ridiculous. And then by the time I started to feel better, I started my period, which was awful, because I only have like 3 periods a year anyways, so like having those 2 be back to back was insane. And we managed to get the sim stream done, and yesterday I wasted a whole bunch of time and energy, because my appetite, like when I'm on my period, I have like a really, really strong appetite. I'm kind of off now, and my appetite went from me wanting to eat everything to kind of finding food repulsive. So I had a plan of like going grocery shopping yesterday. Was very excited about it. Was like, I'm gonna go get food. Like, I had my whole day planned out because I had to run a bunch of errands before stream. And I woke up and I hadn't even eaten all day, so I was already lightheaded, already low blood sugar, and I was like, no, I'm going to be responsible. I'm not going to, like, grab fast food or snacks. I'm going to go to the grocery store, do my errands, and come back and cook food. got in the grocery store, absolutely nothing in there looked appetizing, and then I had a panic attack in public. And rerouted to just like, okay, I'm just gonna pick something up from like Noodles and Company on the way home. And because I was only getting something from Noodles and Company and we were eating into my funds, I was like, let me just grab the most high calorie thing on the menu that I can find. So I was literally only looking at the calorie counts because I was like, I got about $12 to spend and I needed to count for the entire day. Brought it home. Too spicy. Not even, like, I'm not even joking. It was the kind of spicy where I wasn't able to eat it, and if I had eaten it, it would have came right out the other end. So then, I spent like 4 hours of my day trying to get myself to eat that to make my blood sugar go up, and by the time it was time to stream, I was like, I had like hot flashes and stuff, so I just canceled it. And then I woke up today, fell asleep from low blood sugar, woke up today, and a tree fell across my driveway, so I couldn't even get out to get food. And I've just given up. I've eaten something today. I just didn't have anything substantial. Because by the time you have to, it is what a stand up series. They keep punching me and I can't get back up. And to be honest, I could fight a little bit harder to get up. I don't have it in me. You know what I mean? Me personally, I've been playing Animal Crossing, and I was quite productive in the time frame between like doing all the cameos, and now I did a whole bunch of tarot cards for the deck that I've been working on. Like, I worked on a lot of art, and I redid my Animal Crossing island, so I was productive. I also deep cleaned my apartment. I just didn't get a lot of, like, physical work done. Not tarot theme work. Food is soon will take the win. Yeah, it is. I had something. My island is under serious renovations right now. I saw a post today where somebody was like, all the people that don't usually play Animal Crossing are getting back into it because of, like, the update coming. And I'm trying to hold myself back from telling them to stop because they're going to burn themselves out before the update even drops. And I was like, you don't know me and my ADHD. Stop talking. I can ride this train all the way to the update and beyond. I stopped playing Animal Crossing because there were no new updates. And I'm a Sims player at my heart, so you cannot tell me you're not giving me new content. Like, the foundation of my passion for gaming is the release of new shiny things periodically throughout the year to, like, reinvigorate me. So they, like, in 2021 were like, no more, we're not doing any more free content updates. And I was like, and you lost me. You don't have to tell me twice. I put that Switch down and I didn't pick it back up. Well, that's all. I didn't pick Animal Crossing back up. I've been playing plenty of Switch games. So beyond exhausted, it's like being this is fine dog. Yeah, the other thing you have to remember is that, like, we're all transitioning into, like, seasonal affective disorder season, right? Which, even if you don't have seasonal affective disorder, like, the lack of vitamin D, the colder weather, the general, like, gloom of, like, fall puts you into, like, a stupor. And, like, even if that's not something that, like, super duper affects you, transition does affect the human brain. Like, it, like, activates our nervous systems kind of, like, a little bit severely, like, when things start changing. So once you're settled into a season, you're good, but the shift from one season to the next kind of, like, wigs out your nervous system a little bit. And the transition from summer to fall to winter is kind of like a janky one. You know what I mean? Especially since, I don't know about where you guys live, but where I live, it's summer, and then somewhere, like, 3 days before Halloween, it starts being, like, 50 to 35 degrees outside, like, overnight. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how it happens. It's always cold as balls on Halloween day. Like, the day of Halloween is always fucking freezing, like, too cold to be doing Halloween. But any day before that, it's ranging from, like, 80 to, like, 60. You just wake up one day and you're frozen to death. You know what I mean? I've been fighting the temperature, because I like to, like, I keep the heat on during the day, around, like, 75 in my house, and then I put it down to, like, 70 below. I put on the AC 70 below to go to bed. Some days I wake up and it's, like, 80 degrees outside for some reason. Don't know what's going on with that. And some days I put my AC on 70 to go to bed, and I wake up and my room is 63 degrees because it's burr outside. And the literal next day I'll be like, oh, I just don't need to turn the AC on because it's Jai burr out here. Next day I wake up and it's 76 on its own because I didn't turn the AC on and went to sleep. every single one of your fits eats. That is such a compliment because I think that I actually only put effort into what I wear like 10% of the time on TikTok. I mean, you know, I am capable of putting that shit on. I just often don't. This is just a hoodie and leggings and, hold on, animal shoes. Sometimes I biff it a little bit and I'll like wear an outfit to like go somewhere or do something, and then I'll record before I leave the house. Unfortunately I have autism and I just feel really weird about dressing up just to record for 10 minutes on camera and then taking it all off. Like that personally makes me feel weird about myself. And if like you do TikTok content and you put on outfit and record, that's totally fine. Like I'm not like making a blanket statement about that. As a tarot reader where I am selling you like a specific like mental health resource, it feels deeply inauthentic for me to pretend to be more put together than I actually am in my daily life. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel wrong doing that because of the way that I use TikTok. I would hate to be sitting here being like, take my advice because I know what I'm talking about, and every day you see me in a nice outfit with my hair done and my lipstick done and my nails done, and you're like, wow, if I listen to Bix, I'll be just like Bix, and the whole time I'm in pajamas 90% of the time. You know what I mean? That just feels icky to me. I have cultivated a closet where a lot of my casual clothes like look kind of dressy. Do you know what I mean? Like I intentionally like look for items where I only have to put on a shirt and pants. And despite it being very comfy to be in, it looks a little bit more put together. So there is some intentional effort on my part to have that be my wardrobe. Just because I like to look good, and I know that my energy level isn't always conducive with that. I saw Moldy already answered the question for the person that was wondering about price. I also do collectives here, so if you don't have any money and you want a reading, you will get a reading at some point here. Just like a group reading. Humble you are? Thank you. Is it humble to accept a compliment about being humble? I used to be a lot better about it, if I'm being completely honest. I used to like early channel, especially like the first one or two accounts that I had. I used to really just be in here in my jammies like fresh out of bed, and I have noticed the last like year or so I'll like I won't put on clothes to record, but sometimes I really will look tore up fresh out of bed, and I will decide not to record because of that. And that's something that's kind of like new for me. I've been rolling with it. I'm not exactly proud of it. But it's like, I'm just in kind of a different place now. I don't view that as like I'm not like embarrassed by the way that I look. I think that my early internet presence was one where I was loosey-goosey with myself on the internet, which I'm cool with, because as we saw, like, intuitively, I was onto something because those videos no longer exist. Those accounts are gone. That was before I was putting, like, stuff on live stream, like, on YouTube. So, like, if you weren't there, you didn't get to see it. And, you know, had I, like, taken off and become big, like, off of that vibe, it would have been, that stuff would have haunted me forever. I would have had to been accountable for the way that I was on the internet and the personal stories that I used to tell. But clearly my gut knew something that I wasn't, because all of that's gone now. But now I have learned, and now I know how to keep my content safer, and I have it in places where people can find it, so that I'm just more mindful about the way that I present myself. Just because I'm going to have to answer for it later, you know what I mean? Which is a good segue. The last live stream I did, that whole file corrupted of its own volition. Like, it's, if I go and watch the replay on TikTok, it's, like, if you were, like, one of the 3 people that saw that when I uploaded it, because I never rewatch my lives, I literally grab the file and just drop it. I think it was Strawberry Mooncake, actually, was the one that messaged me and was like, yo, that thing looks like something out of, like, a nightmare. It was literally, like, rainbow pixelated, like, glitchy. You couldn't hear or, like, see anything. That is because I spent that entire live stream yapping about, like, my personal life and, like, old roommates and naming them by name. And back in the day, because I know how this works, back in the day, I used to not even, like, people would ask me, like, can you, like, put this up somewhere? And I'd go, no, because I've been talking too much stuff about my personal life. In recent days, like, I kind of keep it a little bit more professional, and I keep my files. I will tell you 100%, if we can have fun. We can do, like, the old days, and, like, we can gossip, and we can be petty. I will not get access to those files. It's just, like, on some real, like, weird juju spiritual shit. I promise you, those things, even if I try and make them, like, be tangible on the internet, they won't make it. It's always been like that. Either I, of my own volition, I'm like, that's not going up, or if I try and put it up, it will somehow not make it up. That's why the old streams used to be a little bit more fun, because they weren't being uploaded anywhere. We got two options. We can keep it cute and you can re-access the content, or we can go buck wild. We run that 7% risk of me losing my account. And if you weren't there, you just didn't get to see it. That's the only two options. There's no third where you get to cross the two wires. I tried it. But Strawberry was like, that file's corrupted, and I was like, it was worth a shot. Of course it is. Always happens. Back in my day, yeah. You really did have to be there. And it sounds bananas if I talk about it now, that there were live streams where I was serenading you guys with my 8th grade recorder and playing the song from the Titanic and In the Jungle, you know. But it did, those were things that happened. I swear to God they did. We were doing them. Fun fact, I'm actually a silly little guy. It's just, I don't really like people as a general whole. Nothing people do. I just have really bad social anxiety, and it takes a lot for me to feel safe enough to, like, drop my guard. When my guard is dropped, I'm the silliest guy in the room. You kids don't know nothing about this. 1 second. I left my energy drink on the other side of the room. I'm gonna go grab it real quick. It'll be like a second. Actually, segue. Look at this sick-ass new Red Bull flavor I found the other day. I've been stuck on the yellow tropical ones for ages. And I found this bad boy yesterday. This is Fiji apple and ginger. It doesn't taste very different from the green one. It tastes like what the green one should taste like. The Karuba and whatever that one is. But the bottle's cool. Please don't spoil episodes 3 and 4. Yeah, please no spoilers. I've seen it, but, like, don't be jerks. Oh, also, while I was gone, sorry, official endorsement, while I was gone, I also, in my burnout, like, healing, I watched Marvelous Miss Maisel. Not even gonna lie, that shit is the best TV show I've ever seen. It's, like, 10s across the board. Script, character development, costume, lore, the season, like, the entire show. It's a complete show. It's already over. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Stuck the landing with the finale. I have no complaints. Actually, the best thing I've ever seen. Strawberry's co-signing it because I got them watching it. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. I don't know how we culturally, like, skipped over that TV show. It's actually the best television I've ever seen in my fucking life. So good. So disgustingly good. I've calmed down about it a lot. Can someone type it out? Yes. It's on Amazon Prime. Close. Mrs. Maisel. But Marvelous Maisel should get you there. It's really good. It's about a 1950s housewife who's, and little spoilers, but, like, episode 1 spoilers, like, this is all the straight up pilot. 50s housewife, who finds out that her husband is having an affair, and they kind of, like, split up, and in their split up, she goes on a drunken rant at a bar, because she's kind of having a breakdown of coping with the fact that her life is kind of, like, Dunskies. They have, like, 2 kids and everything, and he basically walks out on her, and her drunken, like, rant at a bar ends up being, like, some of the most natural, improv comedy that anybody has ever seen. And she finds out that she has a hidden talent for being a comedian as a woman in the 1950s, and the series, like, dictates her attempting to follow that as a career path. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. If you do watch it, just know you're gonna love it. And then season 5 is going to do some stuff, especially early in season 5, the final season, that's going to make you question why you picked up the show. It's gonna feel like they're doing a Game of Thrones, and they bungled it. They messed up the end. You're gonna want to put it down. I'm telling you to watch it and give it a chance. Like, watch it in general, but then when you get to season 5 and you all of a sudden, for the first time in watching the show, want to put it down, do not. Keep watching it. Follow it all the way through. I promise they stick the landing. They're gonna scare you, though. They're gonna scare you. I'm not even gonna hold you, Chief. There were some decisions made that were very questionable. Okay, I will do a little bit of tarot. Have any of you noticed that I can, like, barely speak English? I think I have an actual speech impediment. Just real talk. As someone who does their own TikTok captions, I think that there's something wrong with me and we're all just bypassing it. And I'm sorry for bringing it to your attention if you haven't noticed how often I mess up my words. Because you're not going to be able to unhear it now, but unfortunately that's what it's like being me, because I hear it all the time. You sound fine to me. I think my brain moves really fast. And my mouth can't keep up with how fast my brain is going. So I, like, trip over my own, see? You sound fine, for real. Okay. Let me see what I have. Vibe check. I do the best I can. 10 of Wands, weep now or nevermore. 6 of Pentacles reversed. My infancy, I was noted for the docility and humanity of my disposition. In reverse. The wheel, in reverse, from every depth of good and ill. The mystery which binds me still when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. Sorry, it's the devil, not the wheel. Where did I read the wheel from? Enjoy this. Give me a second to parse this out. Okay. What I have is a little bit interesting. It's kind of like, it's not a lot here, to be honest. The gist of it is there's something here about you being really hard on yourself. Specifically about, how do I want to word this? It's specifically about feeling like if I just tried harder, if I did more, I would be in a different place in my life right now. Like, this is the reading of somebody who, like, is thinking back to every single time they, like, I don't know, buy individual items instead of going to Costco and buying bulk and being like, okay, well, I've bought 10 of them this month and that's $100. If I had just gone to Costco at the beginning of the month and bought a 12-pack, that would have been $60 and I could have saved $40 and gotten 2 extra. And maybe if I'd done that, then I wouldn't be struggling with this bill right now. It's like that kind of mentality of if you are one of those people that has like a career and then a passion hustle, this is like, well, maybe if I took, I work a full-time job and I also want to like write a book, or I want to like build a website, or I'm designing a video game, but I'm not getting very far. If I could just commit to doing 30 minutes after my shift, because I keep going to bed after work because I'm exhausted. If I just stayed up 30 minutes longer and I did that every day, in a year I'd probably have some progress. It's that kind of mentality where you're like, if I could just give just 2% more, that 2% more could stack. If I could find a way to save $5, then I'd have $5 more a day, which is like 60, not 60. Don't make me do that math. $150 a month. Thank you for the compliment on my hair. This hair is old as crap. You'd be terrified if you saw my roots. I have like this much grow out. It's that kind of energy, and this is kind of like a hand wave to all of that of like, okay, well, it's kind of like you can play that game endlessly with everything. It reminds me, if you've never taken the opportunity to look up the tenets of white supremacy, like the actual traits and qualities that make up white supremacy and how you can see the way it's outlined and the way that it plays in society, I honestly, it's something that I recommend everybody read, because there's some stuff in there that's really surprising, and perfectionism is on that list. The idea that like I could always be doing a little bit better, which is true. You could be doing a little bit better if you had been putting $3 in a bank account every day since you were 12 years old. You'd probably have $100,000 by now. But like that's not a productive conversation to have, because you didn't. There's reason why you didn't. Also, most importantly, you can play that game forever. Yeah, if you'd put $3 in the bank account since you were 8 years old, you'd probably have a lot of money right now. If you did it yesterday, you'd have $5 that you didn't have today. It's literally like you could make that up about anything. There's always something you could be improving, and there's a lot of like you spending your headspace thinking of like your shortcomings and and it's very specific. This isn't like, oh, I dropped out of college. This is like, if I had just like made an effort to do this one little thing different, it would have made a big impact on my life. And you're focusing on like, if I just like made like 5 minutes times a day to do that thing, then I'd have 5 minutes of progress. And they're kind of saying the opposite, where it's like, but it's only 5 minutes, so let it go. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I need you to flip your perspective a little bit from like, I could just do a little bit more, to, but it's only a little bit. So is it really that important if you do it? Do you know what I mean? And like when I have these conversations, when I say these kind of things, usually someone pops up in my chat and says something to the effect of like, so you're saying I shouldn't be working towards my goals? You're saying that I shouldn't be making effort? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm actually saying the opposite, which is that you are already making progress towards your goals. You are making progress towards your goals and simultaneously nitpicking yourself for every little bit of progress that you also could have added to that you didn't do, which is not a healthy way to live. And it's not a healthy mindset to approach making changes in your life. Do you know what I mean? It's almost showing up a little bit of like, in this headspace, it doesn't matter how much work you do, you're always going to feel like you should have just done a little bit more. And there are some people that are doing nothing and need a little bit of motivation to do just a little bit. That's not the cards I have in front of me. The cards I have in front of me is somebody who's already making daily progress towards all of their goals in small ways, and you feel like you could add 2% more to that, and you're like driving yourself insane. I have Go Where Joy Calls You and Envious Gluttony in reverse, which is that like that little 10% of time that you're spending, that little thing that you think you could be doing differently is probably bringing you joy, right? This is the card duo of like, I'm on EBT, I'm on food stamps, I'm poor, and I spent my EBT benefits on buying like Oreo cookies instead of like flour, sugar, and water because I was sad today and I bought Oreo cookies. You're allowed to do that. Joy is also something that you need to be like stocking up and keeping in abundance. You know what I mean? There's something here about like, I'm being wasteful either in your resources or wasteful in the way that you spend your time. Maybe you get off of work and you're a little bit stressed out and you're like, oh, that video game I've been trying to like design in my free time, I should have been spending 30 minutes playing that video game, you know, building that video game, and instead you spent 30 minutes opening up your Xbox and playing your video game that you bought with your own money, and now you're sitting in bed like, man, why did I waste my time like that? And this is the card duo that's going, you can't just exist off of like vibes, air, and oh, I've got the same 24 hours as everybody else. You will burn out from working a shift every day and then coming home and doing more work. The little video game break, the Oreos are what keeps you going for the next day. It's you're so like obsessed with being productive here. It's kind of what I want to say is that you're missing that like rest and recuperation and like breaks and fun time are part of what makes the machine of productivity keep going. This is you going, well, if I cut out my lunch break, I could get so much more work done. And then if I, like, the 30 minutes that I spend taking my lunch break, if I just took more phone calls, I'd have $60 more on every paycheck. And then if I put that $60 in a bank account, I could probably afford a house. But I'm here to tell you that if you stop taking your lunch breaks, you're going to burn out. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of the vibe we have here. There's also... It's taking that 30 minutes to make yourself feel bad. Yeah, I see that. Reading my journal on your live. It's what I do. I have, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel good, it probably isn't the truth. You're more intuitive than you think. This came out in reverse. Which tells me that the narrative that you have in your head is not a correct one. This is you feeling guilty about taking a break, of taking a sick day, of taking a nap when you could be working on something. And the part of your brain that's like, I feel really bad whenever I take a nap. I feel really bad whenever I take a break. I feel really bad when I take a rest day and I don't do anything productive. That part of your brain feeling bad isn't your intuition telling you that you're something that you're doing wrong. That part of your brain is the part of your brain that needs therapy, to be quite honest. Like, that is like good old-fashioned guilt about existing and not contributing to the machine. That is the part of you that was taught via your parents or capitalism or some combination of both, or that one ex that really, really messed you up, that made you feel like you had to earn love, you had to earn your spot, that you can't just be a person that enjoys life, you have to be producing and giving back and having some higher goal. If you are happy sitting on your couch, watching movies, playing video games, that is a life well lived. Do you know what I mean? That little voice or that person that comes up to you is like, well, what did you contribute? What did you do with your day? You had fun. Dare I say that is the most valid way to live your day. Do you know what I mean? All the work that people do is so that they can have fun. That's the goal, is that they work really hard, they save money in the hopes that they can have fun. Some people know that you can have fun for free in your day-to-day life, right? And sometimes you run that machine, you're on that treadmill so long that when you get to the point where you have the money or the funds to take the time, you're so obsessed with you got there by being on the treadmill and going like, I'm going to pick up that extra shift, I'm going to grind, I'm going to go for that promotion. And you teach your brain to chase that to when you have enough money, you have the promotion, you have the free time. Now you don't know how to turn that part of your brain off and take the vacation you were working for in the first place. And I fear you're there. You're so far there that you've maybe gotten guilted into taking the vacation, and now you're not enjoying it because you feel like you should be at work, and then you think that that's your intuition telling you should go back to work instead of your giant red flag. You need to chill. That's the yellow light going like, hey, hello. You're not supposed to feel guilty about having fun. That's the point of it all, isn't it? Is you're working hard so that you can live a life where you can enjoy your day, you know? I also really hate the idea, as a gamer by nature and someone who loves to be online and on the internet, I really hate the narrative people have of like, if all you do is sit in the house and play video games, or you scroll on TikTok, or you do this, that's not living life to the fullest. You should be traveling, you should be going and doing things. I like to put my sights on like, are you enjoying your day? Are you having fun? Do you know what I mean? And not police the type of fun people have. The theory behind it, I think, is that we live on a beautiful planet and life is precious, and you should go do things like see the Rocky Mountains and go see Mount Rushmore and stuff while it's there. But I also think that like it's really cool being part of a hyper-intelligent species that does things like create video games and make movies like Dune, you know, that are like take place in like worlds that don't even exist. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's sick as hell that you can like play holographic video games and shit. And I think that that's just as sick and just as part of like being alive in the current time and enjoying life to the fullest as going outside and taking a walk. Do you know what I mean? If you're depressed, go outside and take a walk. But if you're inside and you're having fun, don't let anybody bully you into going outside or putting down your phone. Do you feel good? If you're doom scrolling and you feel bad about the doom scrolling, like you're not enjoying yourself, perhaps something needs to happen. But there's a difference between I'm not enjoying myself and society has made me feel like this is not a proper way to spend my time, so I feel bad that I'm having so much fun looking at memes on my phone. two different emotions. Sort between them and figure out which one you are. And I don't think it's the first one. I think that you're just enjoying your time. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna put my cards away. I think I've squeezed all that I can out of that reading. We'll pull more cards though, don't worry. I believe your Animal Crossing island is very beautiful. I made a dire mistake. I'm really bad at villager hunting. I get like really bored of it really quickly. And I had Punchy on my island, and he asked to leave, and I let him leave just because he's not one of my favorites. With the aspirations of getting somebody to replace him that I really, really wanted, and after like 16 Nook Mile tickets, I just gave up and I took the first one that I had that wasn't horrible. Also, my Nintendo Switch was being racist to me, and every single fucking island I went to had a monkey or a gorilla on it. It was so egregious that I was starting to think that I was being like technologically hate crime by Nintendo specifically. It was real bad. And so I got a non-horrendous character, and I was just like, yeah, we'll do it. And then I sat back and I was like, why did I get rid of Punchy for some random... The person who asked about my arthritis, it's been doing fine, but there's no real improvement. I'm one of those people that has really bad cramps. Like, the entirety of the time that I'm on my period, I need to be popping Advils, like, every 5 hours on the dot, or else I'm gonna be in a world of pain. Not good. Like, I have endo to cap that in a way that you can understand. It's not fun. And so for the last, like, a week, I noticed that my thumb was actually doing really, really good for the first time in months. I've also hit the point in my period where I no longer need Advil. And now my thumb is coming back, so it just turns out that I was taking enough, Advil every day that it was also knocking out my thumb pain. So that's great. I don't know what's going on with it, honestly. I don't usually like taking... When it's something to do with, like, a muscle strain, like when it's carpal tunnel related, because that's, like, overusing a muscle, I don't like to take pain meds for it, because I feel like the only indication I have of how much I'm overworking those muscles are the pain, right? So if I dull the pain, then my hand doesn't hurt anymore, and I'm just gonna go back to, like, overworking the muscle. Like, it's important to me that I can feel what I'm doing to my hand so I can be mindful of, like, the way that I'm using my muscles. So I've been trying to avoid using, like, pain stuff. But it's not going away. It's been, like, 4 months. For my period, I use... Hold on, I can get them. Hold on. 1 second. And this. Hold on. These shoes are slightly too big. I almost busted my ass in the background. So I have really heavy periods, like really bad. Really, really bad. I use Always Radiant, the Force Flex foam stuff. These are great. These are the only pads in the world that I use. I don't know what the hell is in every other pad brand. Those shits are ass. This is the only brand that does what it's supposed to do and absorbs the way it needs to. And I have the kind of, like, heavy flow where on, like, my heavy days, I need to change my pad every 2 hours. Like, you know when you, like, laugh and, like, blood comes out of you? On my heavy days, if I laugh and blood comes out of me, the blood comes out, I let it settle, and then I go to the bathroom and I change my pad, because if I let 2 of those go by, I'm going to bleed through. Like, I can't explain to you how bad it is. I often don't sleep on my heavy days at all, because I cannot be trusted to, like, I have to be upright. If I'm, like, laying down and blood, it's just too much, right? These are the only things that work. I get them on level 5, which is the super overnight, like, extra long one. I wear these my entire period, all the way through. I don't even bother getting another size. Towards the end, I could probably go with a smaller one or go downgrade to a panty liner. I'm not playing around. I've bled through my pants way too many times. It's no fun. I don't have any. I do prefer Always has, like, basically diapers. They're in, like, a black box. And these were my go-to for years. Now I just wear the basically diapers. They're, like, period underwear, but they're not fabric period underwear. They're disposable period underwear. It's basically a diaper. It's a slightly more trim version of Depends. I honestly, the second I see blood coming out of me, I put one of those on and I keep them on until my period's over. I sleep in them. Those are leak proof. I've never had an issue with those. You could flip around, do the splits in your sleep, and I promise you're gonna be good. It just so happens that apparently everybody else has caught on that they're fire. I could not find them at I went to 3 different stores and every single store was out. This time, so I downgraded back to these, right? My sister uses Midol for cramps. She really likes it. I've used Midol before. I liked it. I, for some reason, just never buy it. I was an Excedrin fan because I also suffer from migraine. So I used to have Excedrin extra strength migraine. And that was what I would take pretty much all the way through my periods. I think Midol's better because Midol knocks out more symptoms. But I'm generally pretty cool except for back pain and cramps. And Excedrin will knock out both of those. Recently, in the last few years, last few months, Excedrin has been randomly making me, like, violently nauseous. So, like, it'll remove my pain, but I will get it replaced with, like, feeling nausea and, like, headache. Not headache, like vertigo. So I started going to Advil, and I could not afford Advil this time, so I got Equate ibuprofen from Walmart, and this is, like, how many of this? 40 tablets. This was literally, like, $1.70. And this did me well. I took one of these. For the first couple days, it was fine. Towards the middle of my period, it got a little bit more heavy. I took two of these every 4 to 6 hours. Fine. You won't feel a thing. And my cramps were so bad that I can feel them, like, in my cramps all the way down a line through my leg. My cramps were so bad, they were making my kneecaps hurt. And my ankles. And I could feel it going all the way down my leg. Like that, I promise you, good old ibuprofen will do it. Yeah, oh my god, indeed. I have the most awful periods. I've never heard of Buscopan, to be honest. But that doesn't necessarily mean we don't have it. I definitely haven't seen it. But to be fair, if it's not Excedrin or Advil, I've just never purchased it, to be honest. The pure cotton ones help me cramp less. That's valid. I've heard that. I'm not willing to try it. I think... But that's not like a I don't believe you kind of thing. It's more like I'm just in the tax bracket where I get to pick one period product, and if it's not the wrong one, I cannot afford to go back to the store and get another one. So that's something that I would try when I have more money, because if I try cotton and it doesn't absorb properly, I gotta live with it for the rest of my period, which would just mean me not, like, leaving the house for 5 days. I just go with the tried or true. It used to be bad. My periods used to be embarrassing. Before, Always came out with the flex phones. Periods were embarrassing for me because it didn't matter what I did. I would wear multiple pads. I would double up on underwear. I would wear, like, a pad with underwear and then a second layer of underwear and pads underneath of it, and I would still, like, get up in the middle of class after just changing my pad before class. An hour and a half later, I'd get up and there's blood all down the back of my pants. People literally, while I was in high school, thought that I did not have, like, basic hygiene because my periods were so heavy. They didn't seem to understand, like, and I couldn't get anybody to believe me. That they're like, you're supposed to, and I know, I do all of that. I triple wrap. I have 4 of them on. I only bled once. My pants are ruined for the rest of the day. It was, like, beyond science. And I also, a lot of people tell me, because I have endo and I'm hormonally imbalanced, they tell me to go on birth control. My periods are so bad, and they have been the bane of my existence for years. Like, my cramps have had me, like, on the bathroom floor crying and screaming. I've had to call in a second person to help me, like, stand up and, like, walk me to things before. My periods are so traumatic for me, and also I have gender dysphoria. Every time I've been on birth control, it makes me regular. I only have 3 of them a year. I am so cool with being out on my ass for 3 weeks out of the year. I don't want it fixed. I actually, like, fail to understand how fixing it so that I get to go every month at a lower rate. I don't want that. I would be glad if I never had another one. I'm so good with, like, the devilish toss-up of, like, you're gonna go through hell, but it's only gonna be 21 days out of the year I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't want to touch it. And I've been to OBGYNs before, and I've told them that I would like something that alleviates my symptoms without making me more regular, and I just get lectured about how you're supposed to be regular and it's healthy for your body, which is so cool, and I so totally believe them. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It goes in the same category of people who like bind their chest with ace bandages. It's like it's a little bit of like self-torture, a little bit of contamination OCD, and a little bit of like gender dysphoria. I don't care. They'll just send me home with birth control, and I'm like, I'm not taking that shit. I'm actually not. I believe you. I believe that it would help. I believe that it's good for you. No, sterilization is not an option because I do not have health insurance. Sorry. I also would like to have kids at some point. Probably. Only give you 3 periods a year? But would there be any benefit to that if I already have only 3 a year? That's the question. You just skip the placebo pills, it's safe. And I hear you. I hear you. So let me tell you a story. You can ask a tarot question. I might not do it because I do collectives. It's not really a request thing. You're free to always slide in the chat and be like, can I get this? I sometimes do them. I don't always. If it's a personal question, I will do your 0% chance of me ever doing that usually. If it's like a general, like, could you do a compliment reading? Yeah, sure. Do a story. I once, while I was in high school, bled for like 6 or 7 months straight. Just literally started my period and it just never stopped. And I went to the OBGYN and they told me to do that. They gave me birth control and they're like, we're going to put you on birth control for 4 months. Just skip the placebo pill and take the other ones, right? It was written on my prescription. Like, the instructions on my prescription on the thing were to take them as assigned. I had to fight multiple pharmacists every single time I needed a refill because they would argue with me for hours about how you're skipping the placebo pills. And I would go, if you would read the literal thing that the doctor wrote on this prescription you're trying to lecture me about, it says it's telling me to skip the placebo. And they go, we can't refill this because you're not due. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. They don't listen. I'm never doing that again. I also used to have Adderall. I'm not fighting with another pharmacist for the rest. I'm not doing it. They don't know how to do their jobs, which is fine. And like, I do get that that's part of being a human being. The sidebar is that I have autism and I don't seem as autistic as I am. Arguing with the pharmacist for like an hour is the kind of thing that makes me unable to do my job for the rest of the week because it'll burn me out. I also have severe social anxiety, so I will do that and then go in the car. I will either avoid it entirely and never get my medication if they give me a hard time, or I will like advocate for myself a little bit and then go cry in the car for 3 hours before driving home. So yeah, you can kind of scratch that. Yeah, did it already. It might have just been that one place. It might have just been that one time. Maybe they've gotten training since then and they don't do it anymore. It was traumatic for me, so I don't want to do it anymore. And I understand that that's unreasonable. But that's why I'm not really a functioning like autistic person. You know what I mean? I had one bad interaction at DMV and I still haven't gotten my license. You know what I mean? Because the lady was mean to me one time. So I can't set foot back in there. And actually, Moldy can tell you, I did have to go into the DMV and I did cry. Like, as a grown adult over something very minor because I had trauma from the last time I was in there. I'm barely functional as a person. I had to go in the car and cry and call my mom. I'm 30. It's weird. I understand it's weird because I am like a highly intelligent person. Like, I know that I'm really, really smart. Logically, I do understand this stuff. There's just a weird, and here's where like autism gets kind of funky because I think people associate autistic people with being low functioning with like lack of intelligence. But I cannot explain to you that I'm actually highly intelligent. I just can't do stuff because my nervous system doesn't have any flexibility whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was in a CVS a little while ago. I have these like, I take the little like focus pills that are like watered down Adderall to like help me get stuff done. And there's one specific brand that I like. And I went in CVS to get my brand, right? And there was this lady that was in the aisle and she had her cart horizontally across the aisle blocking it off. Like, she was in there looking at medication. She had barricaded herself in a section of the aisle for the medications, right? So I, like, stood by her cart for a while, like, waiting to see if it was an accident and if she was gonna, like, notice I was there and move it. And she, like, very clearly looked at me and then went back to what she was doing. So I was like, okay. Walked around from the other side, and, like, on the other side where it was open, and stood next to her to try and find my prescription. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go grab what I need to, like, on the other side. And she, like, she's next to me, and I'm standing in the aisle, right? Like, trying to scan the shelf real quick to grab my thing. She literally sees me coming and starts, like, moving to the side to, like, block me off. I don't know why she like, wanted to... I don't know why she thought she owned, like, the 6 square footage of that one CVS out, but she literally body blocked me from it, and I reached around her and grabbed the bottle, and it wasn't the right bottle. Like, I grabbed it and I walked away, and as I was walking around, I realized that I grabbed the wrong thing, right? So then I went 2 aisles over and stood in that, like, CVS for 45 minutes, waiting for her to get done, so that I could, like, go get my medication, and she didn't. And I went home with the I paid for the wrong medication, and because I felt awkward about it, I didn't want to put it back, didn't want to leave it on the shelf, and my nervous system was so activated, I couldn't think straight. Like, obviously, put the bottle down and go to a different CVS. I was already so amped up and so confused by the interaction, I couldn't think straight, so I went and I purchased it, and I still have that medication. I don't have the money for that. Like, when I came, I would have been able to come back the next day and get it when she wasn't in there. Spent that money, because I was so frazzled. Like, being blockaded by somebody else literally activated my nervous system so much that I was having an anxiety attack and I couldn't think anymore, and I spent my money on a random bottle of medication. And also didn't go back in that CVS for another month, because I was scared she was going to be in there. Irrational. And while that's happening, I know that doesn't make any sense. I am aware that it doesn't make any sense. But you know when, like, do you know when you're, like, scared out of your mind? You know when, like, somebody jump scares the shit out of you? Like, if you're walking through your house and somebody goes boo and you just start doing shit because you're panicked, you're like, ah! My body does that randomly without me really being able to co-sign it. So, like, I get, like, in a weird social situation or something unexpected happens and I just become, like, an idiot. It was rough when I was a kid because my mom did not understand that I was like that. So she would send me to do things. And then that's the kind of thing where, like, I would come home with the wrong medication, crying, and my mom would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I'd get screamed at home, right? And then that happening so often made me, like, scared of leaving the house, interacting with people, because my interpretation of it is that I never do well. And it always goes wrong, and then I'm in trouble. Really activate as well whenever people are mean in general. Yeah, me too, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, if she had explained to me why she was doing that, I would have been really calm. But, like, I don't have a script for that scenario. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to handle, like, what am I supposed to do in that case? I also was really proud of myself. I go in the same Petco all the time to buy dog food. And usually I just scan my food and leave. But I've noticed lately that when the cashiers, like, talk to me, because I'm not used to talking to them, I always say gobbledygook, or I'll do dumb stuff, like, I'll answer their questions properly, but I'll, like, pull out the wrong card or do the wrong pin because I can't do 2 things at once. So I spent a week last week, going through all of the things that all of the cashiers have asked me and memorizing responses that are witty and cool. And I was so proud. Last week when I came into one of the cashiers who always asks me, he never remembers me, but every time he comes in, I come in, he asks me what kind of dog I have. And I always stutter through the answer. But I was, like, really cool this time, and I answered, and I, like, winked about it and everything, and I was so proud of myself, because I was like, wow, who says I have social anxiety? I'm so cool, I handled that. And I was, like, 2-stepping back to my car, because I was like, yeah, I wasn't an idiot. And then I remembered that I'd been rehearsing that phrase in my bathroom for the last, like, 5 days. So it actually really wasn't a win. I got so excited for a second, then I remembered that was actually just the power of autism that cruised me through that. I'm just an NPC with dialogue option. If you go off script, I don't know how to handle it. He just doesn't know that. I can be really cool if I don't care at all. There's a huge difference between me interacting with somebody that I care about and somebody that I don't. I have a migraine right now, by the way. I've been cruising through it. It's starting to affect me. I also need to move to a simpler deck. Give me a second. Silly me pulled out all the decks that I put away for a reason. Because they're more challenging to work with. And now I have a migraine. We gotta go simple. I also need one less layer. Well, actually, I have had water today. I can have more. You seem cool online. I think I'm pretty cool. In real life, too. I'm just not, swanky. Do you know what I mean? I don't have Riz. Not platonic Riz. I have really good romantic Riz. Not platonic at all. None. No bitches. Bad head. Dude, lock in. I know. I'm trying. Neither. I think it's because I'm flimsy with platonic relationships. You can call me whatever you want, male-centered, a pick-me. I will cry. Like, every breakup that I have is like a 2-year endeavor to get over it. I could be friends with somebody for 8 years and then abruptly stop talking to them and not give a shit. Like, I won't care. At all. And it's like, I value them and I like care about them and I enjoy them, but I'm not gonna lose any sleep if we stop talking. Do you know what I mean? Don't touch my romantic partners, though. I'll be very uncool very fit. What do you think makes someone a pick me? I have no idea. When I say you can call me a pick me, I'm referring to what I understand most people think of as pick me's, which I think is all over the board. I know the functional definition of a pick me is someone who doesn't have any allyship with the people that they view as like romantic competition. They're willing to like humiliate themselves and others for the person that they're like interested in or the attention of the opposite sex. But what people call pick-me's are not always under that umbrella, and I'm aware that I fill into the very inaccurate bubble of what a large portion of the population thinks of as pick-me. Do you know what I mean? Like, we had this conversation before. Do you guys remember the Sabrina Carpenter album cover where she had the faceless man, grabbing her hair while she was on her hands and knees, and everybody was calling me a pick-me? I would pay a man to do that to me. I'm not even joking. Living the dream. So if it's pick me, I guess I'm a pick me. I guess I don't have any self-respect. Or your guys are boring, one or the other. I think you're boring. And I think that some people are having vanilla sex in the bedroom, and it's really weird of you to announce that in 4K on the internet as like a feminist statement. But also, I was there and I saw what the public opinion is, so I will happily claim the title pick me before anybody puts it on me because I know how they think. If you guys read my text messages, if that title, if that album cover made you feel some type of way, don't ever read my text messages. Don't stay out off of my Hinge and my my archives of my like dating apps. You wouldn't like me anymore. Don't check your fanfic flags. Yeah, no. The more I'm on the internet, the more I learn not to value people's opinions. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a little devilish thought of, like, I want to say something. I want to tell you guys a story, but I think it's going to get me banned if I tell it. I'm either going to get banned or you guys are going to judge the shit out of me. Well, okay. I don't think there's a win there. You can whisper it into your ear, okay? Do you even want to know? It's bad. I got some crazy kinks, man. Is Careful, SpongeBob. I knew. Whispered to all of us. Hold on. We'll pull a card about it. How about that? Zach's the magic conch. I'll share what I consider my most vile kink, depending on the card we get. I don't really... it's the Queen of Wands, so we must share. Alright. Here's an actual thing that I've said out of my mouth, and I meant it when I say it. Right? Okay? Safe space. We're safe spacing this, right? I haven't turned the music down a little bit. This is a safe space. I said that if I could build my dream life, like a thing that I wish would happen to me, is that I wish that I would fall in love with and date an older, white, silver fox, right? And we'd be like madly in love and like married, and he's rich and he takes care of me and stuff. And then like 20 years into this marriage, I find out that he's like my biological father. And it's technically awful, but we've already done everything we're not supposed to do, so we can get allowed, we're socially allowed to continue because we've already done it. Do you know what I mean? And we've been together so long. And that's something that I would be okay with and I would write fan fiction about. I've heard worse. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. All right, I guess exactly. It's a technicality, you know what I mean? And that has less to do with me wanting to sleep with someone that's biologically related to me. I think it's a little bit of like, I think it's a Daddy Warbucks fantasy mixed with I don't feel like dealing with my biological dad, mixed with I want to be naughty but not in a way that anybody can judge me for. I want to like have it already be out of my hands. You know what I mean? It's that kind of soup. It's like a bunch of technicalities wrapped up in something that I should probably work out in therapy. It's like taboo being accepted. Exactly. You get it. And that's like a Tuesday conversation for me. Do you know what I mean? You missed what it was? Oh, I don't want to repeat it. Just because it's anticlimactic. If Freud is rolling in his grave, maybe Freud was onto something. Do you know what I mean? Whatever, like, guy of the week you guys think is sexy on here, I would let... Hold on. Oh, that was so scary. It gave me the thing. TikTok does this thing where if you don't touch the screen while you're live, it gives you a pop-up where you have to, like, validate that you're, like, still there. I started to open my mouth and the screen went black, and that screen usually means that it's making me do the timer thing. It also does that when it's, like, banning me or, like, giving me a violation. So the screen went dark, and I was like, oh, man, the feds got me. Whatever hot man on the internet that everybody's thirsting over this week, whoever it is, I would unabashedly let him put a collar on me with his legal name, put me in a dog cage, and feed me gummy worms, and give me my Nintendo Switch out of a dog bowl, and then sleep in a bed over top of the cage. And I not only would I allow him to do that, I would give him all of my income for that to be a thing that he does regularly. And he would, like, invite people in and be like, don't make eye contact with them, they're not there. Ignore them. That's my bed creature. Do you know what I mean? I would pay actual money. It's not a ridiculous thing to say. Thank you. I think that it's very reasonable. But then there are people that are like, you would let a man degrade you? You would pay a man to treat you like an object? Yes. No, I'm actually not ovulating. Like, this is quite normal for me. I wouldn't have to worry about working. I could play my Switch and not worry about all the things that I have to be doing because I'd be in a locked cage with nothing to do but play Switch. Do you know what I mean? And then he brings my meals to me. I'm not really seeing the downside. Do you know what I mean? The difference is, and I think the difference is that I won't do that for any man. I will do that for a man that I vet. Do you know what I mean? It's not like submissive for anybody who blinks at me. It is like, I'm one of those dogs that has one person that they like and they listen to who actually, like, knows how to handle dogs, and everybody else I mow over. Do you know what I mean? And then you open your mouth and people are like, you don't have any self-respect. And I'm like, you don't know how to have fun. You don't know how to have fun. Enrichment in my enclosure. Precisely. What are you guys saying in here that I keep getting some comments have been filtered in your live? Who is wilding out? That's crazy. I should be the one getting comment filtered right now. Think about it, he's really taking care of me. No, exactly. Exactly. He would pay you, why you pay him? I will take the payment. But if the only way it happens is if I have to pay him, I'll pay him. Whatever I got to do, I shouldn't have sang that. That's a Watsky song, and it's very niche. And I imagine that sounded like I was just losing my mind if you don't know that specific Watsky song. Comment about a certain French community. Whatever you're talking about, I assure you already know about it. How would you work? How would you get the money? Who cares? Who cares? I don't need to worry about anything. I'm in the cage. That's not my problem. That's his problem now. He needs to worry about my schedule. Making sure that I get out, that I can go to the bathroom. I no longer have a care in the world. It's cage time. That's the Dom's problems. He's got to figure that out. I no longer have to make any decisions, which is great. I'm overheating ever so slightly. I need to do something about it. Common restrictions are super weird sometimes. 5-year plan, cage time. We never have a normal life, do we? I have something on under this. No, I can do it. I can do it. I was worried about it because this is a crop top and this pant tends to ride down a little bit. But we should be fine. Oh, I'm too sweaty. Oh. Being Dom sounds more awful every time I have to file paperwork. Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm always like, you sure you want to be in charge? That shit sucks. As a black person, I'm always default in charge. Even in default in charge in the worst way, where I'm default in charge, but nobody wants to admit that I'm in charge. If you're black, you'll understand that. It's the mammy thing all over again. Of like, I raise your kids because you're bad at doing it and you know that I'm better at it, but like, you also won't give me any agency or to admit that I'm a full human being. I would pay money to be absolved from the burden of having to make decisions or think. Because then I also don't have to deal with the blame. Like, in a lot of ways, like, the ego of being a CEO or a dom is, like, great. But then, like, when you're the CEO or the boss or the dom, when things don't go right, it's on you because I just did what you told me to do. Do you know what I mean? And that's the gag, is that, like, it's seen as, like, if you're the one in charge, you get, like, you're the cool one, but also you're the one with the most responsibility. And I feel, and it's not even like, I don't want to be responsible. It's just like, I just feel like it's an easy cop-out. Like, why would you not want to be able to go, oh, they told me to do it. You know what I mean? Also, I have decision paralysis. I don't need to be in charge. I can be in charge. I don't enjoy it. I've never gotten this card before. This is Spirit, Higher Self, Higher Power, God. Which is cool because I have 4 cards, so we can do that. I do think this card is dumb, though. Because 2 of these mean the same thing. I'm pretty sure Spirit and Higher Self are the same thing, and Higher Power and God are the same thing. I'll split them into 2 piles. Other tarot readers bother me so much. I swear they do. You guys keep going on in my chat. I'm going to name the next TikTok live Tarot for Subs. Because that's all I'm hearing. subs and Dimitri. Get a grip, ladies. Is that already what we're doing? That's a dope band name. No more than one Dom here. I think so. If there's more than one, they're being awfully quiet. Rocking with Dimitri because Dimitri's rocking with them. It is really always Dimitri that I call by name, which is crazy because you don't really do nothing. Dimitri's gonna double cross all of us and be like, actually, I'm a sub too. And then I'm gonna have to rethink my choices. Most of the time. Hi! Ooh, I love this song. This is not a safe place for Doms. I think that this chat may be the Dom version of, like, Kroger. I'm sorry if that joke doesn't make sense to anybody but me. If I explain it, it ruins it for the people who did find it funny. This is a stupid reading. I'm not doing this one. I'm sorry. That's a dumb card. I'm just not. Sophie! Sophie! You got African Americans and Sophie and Dom. And there were two. Oh, here we go. What energy am I giving? I could do this one. I'm gonna switch decks for that, though. This is the right one. That's not the right one. God damn, bitch. Maybe if you don't put every single deck you own in a black velvet bag, you could find one. You ever think about that, Bix? Ugh. I was getting mad because I was getting my decks confused, and I was like, this is actually my fault. Revoke your own Switch status. I'm a Switch, but I will only Dom if my partner wants me to, which I think makes me a sub. I can do anything through Christ, which strengthens me, and by Christ I mean my Dom giving me an instruction. I think that actually makes me the biggest sub ever. You're on the Hyperlex and pre-roll list. Hey! Congratulations. I gotta get those out soon. I'm trying to make a dent in my debt before I take out more to restock. Probably futile. Probably futile. But I'm giving it a good old fancy go. What energy am I giving? Swan reverse, elk, raccoon. Brutish is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this. Heavy-handed. The way that I want to describe this is that, like, some people can, like, make tiny little calligraphy letters with a pen, and that's impressive, right? And that's, like, a skill. And some people can axe a tree in half, with one hit. just from the power of their swing, and that's a skill, and that's very impressive, but they are not the same skill sets, and you're looking more like an axe swinger than a delicate calligrapher right now. I almost kind of want to say, like heavy-handed is the way that I said it, but it's not heavy-handed as an insult. It's heavy-handed as, like, impressive. It's like a tank, kind of, like a tank character in a video game. Or like a barbarian, kind of, is in, like, as a, like, it's not a insult, it's just a statement of, like, the vibe that you're in. With elk present, there's also something about, like, you having, like, a, do you know what I'm thinking of? I was watching TikToks today, about, like, African, pastors, and if you're in, like, the black church, you know, our pastors love to do this thing where they, like, lay hands on people, and they'll, like, touch them, and they'll, like, convulse and stuff, and the African pastors have taken it to such a degree that they'll, like, wave their hand, and an entire row of people will fall down, and that elk card kind of gives, like, that kind of vibe of, like, your, like, essence or your energy is kind of, like, powerful. Like, you could kind of just, like, walk into a room and not even really, like, do anything or make a sound, and everybody would be aware that you're in there. It's like your energy is kind of, like, loud right now. It may also be one of those things where, like, if you're in a room full of people, everybody tends to be in whatever mood you're in. Like, if you're in a good mood, the whole room will be in a good mood. If you, like, catch an attitude, everybody, like, the vibe will go down. It's like your energy has a lot of, like, heavy hitting power right now. Influential. You may also be affecting the people around you way more than you think. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, it also is making me think of, there's this TikTok analysis that I came across months ago. I like to be in straight people's business because I think it's really fascinating to be in. And I came across straight people discussing how, like, every male friend group has, like, a pecking order, and there's usually an alpha or, like, a leader of the friend group, and all the other guys will follow what the leader does, especially in terms of his love life. So if the leader gets married, all of a sudden the rest of them will find themselves in, like, long-term relationships. If the leader breaks up with his girlfriend, they'll all develop an issue with their girlfriend as well. And it was, like, you know, straight women being like, that's a thing to look out for. Like, if you got, like, a submissive man, and one of his boys that he, like, looks up to breaks up with his girlfriend, you are likely to be next. And I bring that up because it's kind of, like, in that metaphor, you're the alpha of, like, it's, like, trendsetter kind of vibe. I wouldn't go around, like, saying it, though, because it's also the kind of vibe where I think people would, take offense, or, like, you would activate their ego if you told them point blank that you think that they're, like, affected by your energy. Do you know what I mean? It's showing up kind of weird as if, like, somebody could, like, quite literally be copying everything you do, and if you go up to them and you're like, well, I knew you were going to do that because you do everything I do, they're going to be defensive about it, even if it's 100% true. And I don't think it'll do anything. I think you're just going to find yourself in a very puzzling and kind of frustrating conversation. It's maybe going to leave you feeling a little bit gaslit. Do you know what I mean? It'll be like, no, I don't. I was going to buy that anyways. You know what I mean? It's showing up like a brick wall you're not going to be able to get through. They're not going to admit it. Do some Makeverse content? Get your mind out of the gutter. Lock in! Lock in! Maybe. What's after Zeta? I want to be that. Hey, culturally, we might be in a bottom apocalypse. I don't know if you guys have been watching Hazbin Hotel. We're not, oh yeah, we weren't supposed to do spoilers for that. For the person that was in here that was like, I haven't watched episode 3 and 4 yet, I'm not going to give you a spoiler. I'm just going to tell you that the bottom twinks are represented quite heavily in those last 2 episodes. That's not a spoiler. It's just an observation. If you were on Tumblr when the Onceler was the sexy man of the year, you're about to experience that all over again. I'm not even joking. It's wild out here. Especially episode 4. Episode 4 is a little bit wild. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't have Amazon right now. There's a site to watch it for free. I don't know it though. Faith, personal authority. There's also something here about you maybe seeing that, some sort of, like, opinion or belief you specifically have about, like, agency or, like, freedom. Like, it feels, I don't know what I would, human rights is kind of the way that I want to say it, or things that fall under human rights, like, you shouldn't keep slaves, like, everybody deserves food, everybody deserves clean water, like, those kind of ideals. There's something here about, like, something that you were ahead of the curve on, as far as one of those ideals starting to become, like, public consciousness. Again, it's always the example I use. It's the most pertinent one. This always reminds me of how, like, 10-15 years ago it was really common to, like, for people to beat their kids. Again, I don't know, this was, like, a unique experience to me. I remember growing up and hearing, like, kids get, like, their ass beat in, like, grocery stores, like, spankings in grocery stores, and it was just, like, a normalized thing. And somewhere in the last, like, 10 years, people were like, you can't do that stuff anymore. And there were people back then, I'm sure, that were like, yo, that's horrible, like, you shouldn't be hitting kids, and they were treated as kind of, like, hippies that were, like, raising kids that didn't have any discipline. And now they're, like, the more majority opinion. That's kind of what I'm seeing, is that they're, like, there's like, another shift going on where you might see something that you were kind of exasperated in advocating for because you were ahead of the curve and it just seemed like nobody was listening, is starting to make its way, like, more mainstream. The way it's showing up, though, is that it's like you kind of lost a little bit of hope in whatever this thing is. So you're seeing little whispers of it now. It's likely you already know what this is, and you're like, yeah, it's gonna fizzle out. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I don't really see, it's just like a little blip, and then it's gonna get snuffed out. A couple of people are getting on the bandwagon, and then they're gonna drop it. It's just like last time. I think it's gonna stick this time, but it's showing up to me like whatever this is, you've already noticed it, and you've already decided to not get your hopes up about it because you've kind of been kicked down too many times. As far as, like, optimism goes. But it has something to do with human rights. Human rights, politics, somewhere on those streams, and it's small. I know that, like, somebody's, we just had, like, a democratic, like, wave of wins. It's not like, oh, the whole country's gonna flip blue. It's not that. It's more like, people might start, like, thinking that it's not right to let homeless people starve. You know what I mean? Like, it's small. Mystical perception, Toad. Awareness, comprehension, insight. It's my deck telling me that okay, whatever. I don't need my cards to tell me that I'm right about things. Ooh, how best can I celebrate myself today? I like that one. And how does my family see me in reverse? Running out of nonprofit for disabled housing, it depresses me. I'm so sorry. Anybody that's in any field, even, like, slightly related to social work, I know the burnout, it goes crazy. I know it's so bad. I used to do animal husbandry and it depressed me. I'm not, like, advocating for you two. I got out of, like, public advocacy as a career, and I got into, like, private advocacy. Which is, you, like, narrowed down my career to something that makes sense. I'm basically a paid, what is the word for it? Motivational speaker. You're out there fighting the good fight. I also don't have the temperament for it. I like to fight. How can you celebrate yourself today? Chaos, nightmare, obscurity, recluse, tired, hyperactive. I think you need a break. I think some of y'all are in burnout. Like, real bad. Emergency therapy, that too. From something that you haven't recovered from yet. I don't think that it's burnout from, like, physically working too hard or, like taking on too much work. This looks like something happened to you. Like, it's like a side event that happened, like a, something out of your hands. Like, it's literally showing up like something happened to you. Having to move suddenly. Having a falling out with somebody that you care about. Something that, like, was not your choice, that you just happened to be a bystander to, like, came in and kind of, like, disrupted you energetically, and you're still, like, in repair from that. Wow, my readings are 24 hours. I'm always crashing out. You do get a lot of 24-hour readings. Frozen 2 is in my top 5 movie list, actually. That's so valid. I didn't enjoy Frozen 2 okay, here's the thing. I like Frozen 2. I enjoy watching it. Like, I liked watching it. It's like high on the entertainment for me. When I take it apart as, like, someone that enjoys media, it's incomprehensible gobbledygook as far as plotline goes. Do you know what I mean? Soundtrack's fire. I, like, emotionally love Frozen 2. Critically, I do not. I don't like it critically. I love it emotionally, and it's been on my playlist since it came out, like, all the time. I listen to Into the Unknown, and, God damn it, Into the Unknown, and Elsa's other song. Can't think of it. It's because I have a migraine. Pretty much daily. Show yourself. Thank you, yes. I almost never listen to All Is Found. The other one that I really like is, The Next Right Thing. But I can't listen to it without crying. So I, like, limit myself to that one. And it's bad. Like, I'll cry. I'll play it and cry. And then, like, get to the end and feel better. And then, like, I'll replay the song and just start crying again. Like, it's literally, like, a thing where, like, the way that song plays out, there's just a certain point where I burst into tears, and I will burst into tears repeatedly in the same sequence every single time. It has actually gotten me through true grief. It's dare I say, it is not the song that's closest to my heart in terms of enjoyment. I think that it's a masterpiece of a song. If you've ever been through something, when I listen to that song, and my perspective of a lot of the music that I listen to is the perspective of somebody that, like, really struggles with depression and, like, feelings of unaliving themselves. And The Next Right Thing, like, perfectly musically encapsulates what it feels like to have, like, one of those breakdowns or one of those panic attacks where you want to end it all. And doing the, like, I used to have to, like, sit on my hands and, like, sit through panic attacks to, like, and, like, tell myself, like, don't move. Just sit here till you feel better, because if you move, you're going to do something to hurt yourself. That idea of, like, what can I do in this moment? What small thing can I do, and then do the next small thing? Also, when you're, like, actually grieving, so much of the early stages of grieving is just making it through 24 hours and getting through the next day until you actually can, like, do something, until you have something else other than just tacitly, passively staying alive. Really, really, and that's always been it with Frozen. Frozen has had, honestly, some of the most baller soundtracks in the entire Disney lexicon. I'm not even gonna hold you. I have kind of, like, lukewarm opinions of the first Frozen movie as well. Not because it's a bad movie. It's missing charm. I think the Frozen as a series is missing charm really heavily. And if you're gonna argue with me about that, my counterpoint would be to watch Encanto, because Encanto has classic Disney charm. Frozen does not, and so does a lot of, like, the things in the Frozen era. Tangled has classic Disney charm. Encanto has classic Disney charm. Frozen does not. It's missing the charm, but, pen to paper, that soundtrack, I won't listen to anybody that says, like, Let It Go was overplayed. It's actually not overplayed. It actually is that good. It's just that good. Five-hour dissertation. I also did like Frozen 2 more than the first. My thing with Frozen 2 is I think it introduced a lot of things that I found really interesting. I wanted them to do more of it. Like, it's... My thing with Frozen 2 is that, like, every time they, like, gave me something that I really, really liked, there wasn't enough of it. Like, that one guard in Frozen 2, the black guy, where were you for the rest of the movie? Like, great. The village town with the people that they stayed in for a little while, those should be in the main cast. Actually, that whole village, like, in general, that should have been more of a thing. The elements were, like, sprinkled in. I don't know what it is, because I also don't want, like, a 4-hour movie. But I feel like it takes a long time to get someplace, and they do so many interesting things, and each of those interesting things gets 5 minutes of screen time. And I wanted each of those things to have an hour. The first Frozen movie was very controlled, had a very limited cast, and it wasn't doing too much, and it was good. It was good. The new one, there was so much. It was all good, though. It was all good. So, like, again, I enjoy it. I do have, sorry to the person who said Frozen was one of their top 5 movies, because I also get really irritated when someone nitpicks my movie. Also know that as a Virgo, I only nitpick things when I'm interested in them. I also personally thought that, like, the backstory on, an expansion of Elsa's powers was unnecessary. Like, I actually don't feel like the universe was made any more interesting by giving her, like, an explanation for her powers. I actually think that you can just have, in Disney logic, have a remote, like, kingdom where one girl just woke up with ice powers, and you don't need to explain that. And it actually, like, lost a lot of the charm of her powers by, like, giving us an explanation and backstory to them. Do you know what I mean? But Disney does that sometimes, where, like, and this is how, like, I know that, like, their board of trustees has their fingers in everything too much, because they did this with the live action Disney movies, because the actual Disney princes are fine. The Disney princes are some of the most intelligent story writing Disney has ever had. And then they make the BuzzFeed articles, or people, like, make video essays about how actually Cinderella is a bad feminist icon because she waited for a man to save her, which actually isn't what happened, and that's not the movie, right? We've done this rant before where people talk about how, Ariel gave up her whole life for a man, and I counterpointed that Ariel was actually characterized from the first minute she's on screen as an archaeologist who is deeply interested in human culture. Do you know what I mean? And it actually has nothing to do, right? Okay? So people make they make these whole videos that mischaracterize the entire, like, storyline and make points about how it's not actually feminist and actually this is a bad role model for kids, right? And then Disney will make a live action movie where so much of the changes from the original is just their critiques. They make the princesses more feminist, and you can tell they've been doing the BuzzFeed quizzes, or they're aware of it, and they're doing, like, counter, PR to that stuff. And that's the kind of thing that, like, corporations do. So they sit there and they go, oh, the people misunderstood. The people that lack media literacy misunderstood your movie, so I'm gonna need you to put the princesses in pants. Have a scene where she talks about how she doesn't want to wear a dress, she wants pants and sensible shoes, because I'm tired of people making video essays about how it's not feminist. Which is not something that an actual animator would do, because animators don't work like that. Artists don't think like that, right? And I think that that's what happened with Elsa, where one of the critiques is people are like, where did she get her powers from? Like, you just can't, like, so she's the only one in the kingdom with powers? Bitch, they never fucking explained how Cinderella's fairy godmother existed. There's no lore to explain fairy godmothers in that universe. The bitch was just there. She made shit out of pumpkins, and she's good. It's fine. You don't have to explain it. And that section of Frozen 2 had me being like, you guys have got to stop making think pieces. You're making people insecure. Look what they did. Look what they did. I didn't need to know this. It's actually fine. We didn't even need, we explained, I guess, Rapunzel's hair a little bit, but not really. The explanation was magic flower makes stuff happen. That's how fairy tales work. You guys are messing with my whimsy, and I take my whimsy very seriously. Can you imagine if Encanto had a whole 30-minute diversion of them actually explaining how the house and the magic of the house works? That movie, that's actually a really good example. Encanto is better off for the fact that it's all left ambiguous. You understand that the house was created out of need, and it gave Mirabel no powers because the family needed somebody without powers to snap them back into reality of focused on the family legacy and the powers they become. But why is the house sentient? Why did the valley spring up out of nowhere? What is how? Stop asking questions. Stop it. The animated series does, and I would argue that and I've seen the animated series, I would argue that all of that was unnecessary, and it does actually, like, cheapen everything that's going on. Rapunzel, the series, is a good series. That was not a good part of that series, and it gets convoluted and messy. And it ruins the whimsy once again. Because when you have a soft magic system, a soft magic system being a magic system that exists, and it just works, there's no, like, rules to it, no written down, like, if you are born in May, you have fire powers, and you can only use, right? When you have a soft magic system, and then you try and make it hard, a hard magic system is one that has explanations and rules and lore. When you make a soft magic system hard, what you do is you answer questions, and then you create more questions, and then it becomes an endless list of more questions that you're now on a list of answering, right? Which is what Frozen 2 did, is that now we understand that there's different elements, and she's one of the elements, but then you go, well, why do we have trolls? Like, who made it? Why is that the way that it works? Why is she now the deity of ice? Was she always born a god? She could have just been Ice Girl. Leave it alone. Stop touching it. Except for that fucking water horse. I needed a little bit more time spent on the water horse. And I abhor the fact that Frozen doesn't have enough horses in it. Disney princess needs horse at all times, right? There is a horse in Frozen that has a name, and it felt like an insult and a spit in the face because she rides that horse once, calls him by name once, and they gaslight you into thinking that he's gonna be you. Mostly, you don't even remember the horse that was in Frozen. I know you don't. Because you're not psychotic like I am. He's in one scene, calls him by name, and they play it off like he's gonna be like the horse in like Mulan, where he's going to be a side character. No, he disappears very early on, and despite that movie having need of a horse so deeply that a reindeer is carting him around most of the time, they replace him with a reindeer. So the horse wasn't needed. Stop fucking playing games with me. Stop playing, I'll show you the horse. Why put in horse if you're not going to give me horse? Do you know what I mean? Another thing Tangled understood, give me horse. Or don't give me horse. Don't tease horse. Hold on. It's gonna look, there's a whole horse. There's actually two. We're gonna have to, I don't feel like pulling this up all the way. That's one, right? That's his horse. Anna has a horse too. You didn't remember them, did you? Nope, you didn't. Nobody did. She rides that horse, loses that horse, and then is on, like, reindeer back for the rest of the thing. Why would you even put... Stop talking to me. I'm pissed off. They gave Elsa a horse, though. And I'll give... Because Elsa deserved a horse, to be quite honest. Dare I say she needed a horse. If anything that Disney has done makes perfect sense, it is Elsa being the princess that has, because most of the Disney princesses already have a horse, you know what I mean? They have a family horse that, like, rides them somewhere. Elsa's the only Disney princess that has, like, the Black Beauty kind of thing, where she literally encounters one in the wild that won't let anybody touch it, and she's like, be still, my child, I'll tame you, and she tames the horse. And I think that Elsa not only deserved that, she's the only Disney princess that had the proper personality for that to be the way she obtained her horse. Is being like, nobody can ride him. And she's like, well, he hasn't met me yet. You know what I mean? We just have a bond. I understand him. And it worked. And it was a transparent water horse. Thought Elsa was a queen. She is, technically. I don't know if it's fair to call Elsa a queen. Because I know she technically is one. But if I may be so bold, it kind of feels like dead naming her because of how deeply uncomfortable she is with the entire concept, the entirety of her queenship. I consider her a princess. She was forced into queendom against her will and didn't want to take it up. And considering she like abandoned the crown twice. Yes, I think it was the Ice Queen, something like that. Considering she abandoned that crown twice, I think that she's good. I don't think she's really a queen. I would actually argue the entire narrative arc of both those movies is that there is a true Queen of Arendelle, and it was actually Anna the entire time. So Anna's queen. Elsa's princess. Also, by Disney Corporation standards, she's in the Disney Princess lineup, which makes her a Disney princess, if that makes any sense. Which it doesn't really, and I would advise you to not dig into the lore of the Disney Princess, like, corporate moniker. Because it has its own, like, sets of rules and, like, costumes. Technically, Elsa shouldn't be in the Disney Princess lineup, but she's too, popular not to be. You know? So she's a queen that abdicated the throne twice in her movie canon, in the corporate world of Disney and what it means to be labeled under the Disney Princess property. She is a Disney princess. Does that make any sense? Because she's in the Disney Princess branding. It's really dumb. I know way too much. I promise I'm not an obnoxious Disney file. I'm a kid whose special interest is traditional animation and kids movies. So I know way too much about Disney. I'm not a Disney dick sucker, though. I'm an apt critic of Disney. I am a Don Bluth dick sucker, though. All day, actually. That man can do no wrong. I don't want to even hear about it. We're not even going to talk about it. Don Bluth is the guy that did Anastasia, by the way. Anastasia, American Tail, Thumbelina. I'm riffing off some titles. The Secret of Miss Bribsy and The Secret of Dim. My favorite animated film is The Last Unicorn. My favorite Disney movie. If you put a gun to my head. Are you asking which one that I like the most? Or the one that I enjoy the most, or the one that I think is the best? Like, critically, because I think those are two separate answers. I usually just give Lilo and Stitch, Treasure Planet, and Atlantis as, like, a trio. Of, like, those are what I consider, that those three are tied for the best Disney movies. If you put a gun to my head, I think the one that is best structured as a movie, like the one that if you were to rate it on all counts, that gets the most points, is Lilo and Stitch. I think Lilo and Stitch is a perfect movie with no notes. I think I have the most fun watching Atlantis, but the one that I am the most passionate about is probably Treasure Planet. If that makes any sense. I have, like, a lot of feelings about Treasure Planet because it was the passion project. The guy that made Treasure Planet worked on a lot of, like, really famous Disney movies. And basically begged Disney for years to, like, let him make his, like, passion film. And Treasure Planet is that passion film that he fought for ages after making this company literally millions and millions of dollars to be allowed to make the project that he wanted to. And Treasure Planet is the first Disney property that blends CGI and animation together. It also has this really unique steampunk style that you only ever see in Atlantis. It's got a really cool tone to it. It did so many stuff that was avant-garde for the genre. The original song that was made for it is very, very good. It's one of the only Disney movies with a male protagonist, like a male human protagonist, that isn't a musical. I think, yeah, that isn't a musical. It's one of the only ones. Atlantis is the other one. And Disney intentionally sabotaged one of their best animators' passion film so that he wouldn't have the goals, because he basically strong-armed them and, like, begged them and then made a deal with them to, like, if I do this for you, will you let me make my passion film? And they were like, yeah, and then they didn't follow through on that, and he basically, like, held them to it until he forced them to, like, be like, I'm not gonna work with you anymore unless you make me make this, and they punished him by literally damning that film. They sabotaged the release of it, sabotaged the time they put it in theaters to make sure that it wouldn't do well in box office, refused to advertise for it, and then basically were like, see, that's why, don't ever do that again. Like, don't ever, like, try and, like, twist our arm and do something we don't want to do as an animator, because we'll make sure that it never sees the light of day. And it hurts my heart, and I have so much of the stuff that, like, was done on Atlantis sets the tone for, like, the CGI projects that they do today, and it was such a good, heartfelt movie. Disney does have male leads, Tarzan, Atlantis, but Treasure Planet, specifically in a studio that has lots of, like, coming of age stories for women. Treasure Planet is a coming of age story for a boy that revolves around a very familiar trauma of, like, not having your father be present in your life and growing up with a struggling mother and not having a sense of your identity to root yourself and position yourself and acting out because of it, and how that person finds, like, within themselves to come of age and grow up when most of their authority figures have betrayed them or, like, let them down. And it has a very, very complicated, nuanced character development between the antagonist, which is very annoying because Disney tried to do, like, a, like, complicated antagonist since Treasure Planet. If you want to see, it's not even like a twist villain. If you want to see a villain that is incredibly sympathetic while also narratively held accountable for the things that he does that is evil, Treasure Planet has it. Treasure Planet does a lot of things that no Disney movie has ever done before or since, and I think it was an opportunity for them to be innovative, and the studio didn't want to do it, and they sabotaged it. And it hurts my heart. If that was my project movie, having to see it be buried and not come to light or be loved the way that I, as the creator, loved it until decades after it was made would hurt my heart. I find myself talking about Treasure Planet the most often out of Disney movies because it's a tragedy to me. Atlantis is just good fun. Atlantis is good fun. Atlantis is like a watered down Treasure Planet. It's a little bit safer with the tropes it plays into, and therefore I think it did a little bit better. Also, I'm a real sucker for characters with white hair. Somebody asked about Pixar movies. I don't really give a shit about Pixar, to be quite honest. The Pixar movie that interests me the most was Soul. I don't think Soul is very good. You're welcome. Hold on. Let me look up a list of Pixar movies, because I might be forgetting one. I think Pixar does a really good job of making you feel things, but I don't think it's very good at, like, it doesn't have the longevity that Disney movies have. Like, I watch a Pixar movie, I go, that was really great, and then I don't think about it anymore. Do you know what I mean? They're not iconic in the way that Disney movies are. I liked Luca, but I will never watch it again. I like Turning Red a lot. Probably never watch it again. Ratatouille's good. We'll never watch it again. Finding Nemo's good. Seen it. Probably The Incredibles. If you made me twist my arm, I like The Incredibles. That's probably my favorite. I think that's their best one. I do like a lot of, like, Disney Pixar collaborations. I think Bolt is kind of underrated. I think it's a collab, so I don't know if it counts. I really do love Zootopia. I think Zootopia is very underrated. For just, like, a good, fun movie. Probably Incredibles. I like Finding Nemo and I've watched it a lot, but it's, like, again, like, I watch, and maybe it's because they're not musicals, and I have, like, musical memory and, like, am someone who just loves musicals down. I watched Finding Nemo so many times as a kid, and it's, like, it's a good movie and I enjoy it. It's not, like, embedded into my brain the way Under the Sea is. Do you know what I mean? Like, a dream is a wish your heart makes. Like, Pixar has never done anything that captured that level of whimsy for me. Do you know what I mean? Again, they make really good movies. They're like art films, but they're not iconic. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't have like a Stitch. Do you know what I mean? There's just something there's a little something that's a little bit empty about Pixar movies for me. And you know what I think it is? I think that the thing that I like about musicals is that they're a little bit silly. Like, it's a little bit silly and humiliating to have characters break out in song and dance. Do you know what I mean? But it's a silliness that's like wholesome, and if you like allow yourself to like give into it and not think so hard about like who's watching or whether this is childish, you follow the whimsy and you're having like an inner child engagement experience. I think that Pixar makes really good movies, but they're trying to be really good, serious art films. There's nothing about Pixar ever requires me to open my inner child and go like, if somebody sees me like enjoying this sequence at my big age, they're going to think that I'm silly. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just gonna ignore that and vibe to the song. You know what I mean? You can watch Up any day of the week and somebody can come behind you and see you watching Up at 45 years old and they're like, yeah, Up is a damn good movie. If you're singing Under the Sea and like doing all the lyrics and bopping around at 50 years old, people are gonna make fun of you. And I think that's what I like about Disney, is that there's an element of like, you have to like abandon that section of yourself that cares about what people think in order to like Disney movies. And I think that's what makes them like the classics, because they engage, they wake up your inner child and they play. You know what I mean? Pixar, like, wakes up your inner adult and, like, has a thesis statement to say, which is good. And I'm not going to advocate for, like, unintelligent media. I just don't think just because they're princesses that sing that it's any less intelligent. Do you know what I mean? I really want to like Pixar more. I don't. I think that's probably why I like The Incredibles, because the material of The Incredibles being superheroes, like people who wear underwear over top of their pants and fly around and have catchphrases, does engage that inner child part of my brain. So it's whimsical, even though it's a very serious, dark take on like superheroes. It's still silly because superheroes are viewed as childish. You know what I mean? But again, I do think Pixar movies are masterpieces. They are. They're just, I'm not like having fun while I watch them. I'm enjoying art. Do you know what I mean? And you know who like tends to blend those two really, really well together, actually? DreamWorks. I think DreamWorks and Don Bluth do a really good job of crossing the line into both of those. That's why I like Don Bluth, because he captures the whimsy while keeping it like serious. And DreamWorks doesn't always do it, and DreamWorks has some real bottom of the gutter, bottom feeder stuff. But I think that like Kung Fu Panda, and How to Train Your Dragon and The Road to El Dorado are really good examples of like, you don't need to, well, I mean, Road to El Dorado is kind of musical, but it has that like whimsy and that fun, but it also is like doing something a little bit more higher level than what Disney does. The Road to El Dorado is one of my favorite. If I know I said the Last Unicorn is my favorite animated movie, The Road to El Dorado is my second favorite. Very near and dear to my heart. We're Back at Dinosaur Stories. I love that movie. And that's actually such a fun one to bring up on this topic, because the theme of We're Back, a Dinosaur Story is interacting with your inner child. Like, that is actually what that movie is about. Don Bluth is so cool. He's an ex-Disney animator, by the way. I would just recommend going through and watching everything he does. And what I really like is that like Pixar, Disney, and DreamWorks are kind of like different flavors of the same thing. Don Bluth is like, he's got his own little sauce. You know what I mean? Like, it's like its own little, I don't know how to explain. There's something so dark about his movies. Like, even in just the way that he draws. Arguably, if you've seen Thumbelina is pretty, like, peppy and cheerful, like, in tone and color palette. But Thumbelina, the sequence plotline of Thumbelina is, like, she gets lost. She's a small, vulnerable character that gets lost and is, like, away from home. And she's kind of caught between trying to find her way home and kind of, like, reconnecting with her prince and, like, falling in love. And every other character she interacts with along the way in between those two polars of, like, whether she finds her way home or whether she finds her prince is trying to, like, prey on her, sexualize her, take advantage of her, convince her to give up on her dreams to stay with them. In a very similar way that, like, Pinocchio is very dark, Thumbelina is dark as shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a pleasant movie to watch. It's kind of like chilled. It's like the way that Pinocchio is kind of like a tale about the naivety of children who want to grow up too fast. Thumbelina is like, the meta text of Thumbelina is like a metaphor for women trying to like be outside and like enjoy like being an attractive, talented woman, and having like talent people who want to like get you into modeling or get you in a singing career and take advantage of you, or people who want to make you settle and marry them because you're uncertain about your future. I love Don Bluth. I think he's really cool. He also did The Land Before Time. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on there. The only like lack of diversity I think he has is that he only knows how to draw one human man. But at this point, it's really funny that like the prince from Thumbelina and Dimitri and the one guy from that one space movie that he's made that I haven't seen yet all look the same with different hair colors. I think it's funny. I think it's a meme. Thumbelina's really great. He's a jack of all trades. Like, you would never think that the person that did Anastasia, Thumbelina, and The Land Before Time were all like the same. It's the same guy. But like when you look at them side by side, it's definitely the same guy. Do you know what I mean? I like Studio Ghibli a lot. I like Studio Ghibli when it's incomprehensible. I haven't seen every Studio Ghibli film. The Boy and the Heron is my current favorite Studio Ghibli film. My favorite before that was Spirited Away. And I think that like critically, I think that Howl's Moving Castle is the best one. I think it makes the most sense. It's the one with the best story structure. It's the one that like narratively has all of its joint together. I like incomprehensible Studio Ghibli. Like Spirited Away is like very like metatext, subtextual. It kind of like makes impressions rather than statements. It leaves a lot of it, of the plotline, for you to infer. Boy and the Heron cranked that up to 100, to the point where I'm not even sure. I feel like I understood what I watched. I don't know if I can explain it to anybody else, including myself. Do you know what I mean? My soul understands The Boy and the Heron. My brain, my mouth, and my body do not. Boy and the Heron is really good. It is very subconscious. I enjoyed it. Like, I really thoroughly enjoyed The Boy and the Heron. In a way that I don't think I've... Spirited Away was my first Studio Ghibli movie, and it was the one that was unable to be topped. I liked Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki's Delivery Service makes me uncomfortable. I'll say this. In vague opinion, because I will admit I've seen Kiki's Delivery Service several times as a child. I don't remember anything about it. I remember how I felt watching it. And I know even at its most incomprehensible, I always felt calm and relaxed while watching Spirited Away. I felt very uncomfortable watching Kiki's Delivery Service for reasons that I could not tell you. I don't know what it was. It made me, like, not uncomfortable, like, scared as a child. I just don't remember having pleasant feelings while watching it. Like, it was kind of just, like, a thing that was on that kind of, like, made me feel weird. Do you know what I mean? I've seen Totoro. Totoro's good. I like Totoro as, like, background noise more than an actual movie. Do you know what I mean? It's got a lot of empty space. And it kind of is, like, baby sensory TV. I really like, oh god, what's it called? The one with the girl with the wolves. I swear I know these movies. Ponyo's alright. Princess Mononoke, yeah, that's the one. I like Princess Mononoke a lot. Thoroughly enjoyed Princess Mononoke, actually. I just don't really have anything to say other than, like, it was good. I like Ponyo. Ponyo's feel good, but it didn't, I don't feel like I walked away from Ponyo with anything that I didn't already have when I watched it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Spirited Away and The Boy and the Heron, like, made my soul, like, added inventory to my soul after I watched it. I don't feel like Ponyo added anything. But I did, like, enjoy watching it. It was fun. There was either not, like, there wasn't, like, a lesson in Ponyo, or, like, a message or a theme, or if there was, it was one that I already learned. Do you know what I mean? It's kids being cute, you know what I mean? That's maybe why I'm a little bit, like, less iffy about, like, Howl's Moving Castle than most people are, because I think that, like, there's a similar vibe with Howl's Moving Castle, where I didn't really walk away with anything from Howl's Moving Castle, but the scale of whimsy and like fantasy that Howl's Moving Castle gives you is like a lot, and it kept me well fed. I haven't seen some of the older Studio Ghibli movies. I haven't seen Fireflies, which I think is Studio Ghibli. I know what happens in it. I don't think I'm capable of watching it. And I know people say that, like, everybody should watch that movie, Grave of the Fireflies. There it is. Everybody should watch Grave of the Fireflies because it teaches you a lot about war. I don't actually think that I need to be traumatized in order to know war is bad. Like, I actually think I think that there's some people here that need to see the after effects of war to be like, oh yeah, we shouldn't be bombing people. I don't need that lesson. I'm good. You know? I'm okay. I learned that from my own subconscious when I was like 6. I'm okay. I haven't seen Whisper of the Heart. I refuse to see Arrietty for 2 reasons. The first one, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Maybe this is niche, maybe it's not. There used to be a book series called The Borrowers, which was a book series about, like, little people that, like, they were little tiny people, and they were borrowers because they used to, like, borrow things from humans, like, you know, like, thimbles to use as, like, furniture, and, like, needles to use for weapons, right? So I read The Borrowers as a kid. I don't really remember it, but I did read them, and I loved them, right? And then also, I don't know if anybody else remembers, if you're my age, when you got to be, like, 13, 14, 15, if you were a little bit alternative, right around when High School Musical and stuff was coming out, a lot of, like, alternative kids were kind of, like, anti-Disney, like, very blindly, like, oh my god, you like that shit, like, it's all just pink, and, like, High School Musical is so lame, fuck Twilight, like, that kind of mindset, the counterculture kicks in, and you start, like, blindly really hating Disney. So, as, like, an alternative weeb in school, I was the only kid in my school that knew about Studio Ghibli at all. And when The Secret Life of Arrietty came out, the plotline was a copycat of Borrowers. It was on Disney Channel, which had become very uncool to me. Like, that, if you were around when that movie released, it released on Disney. Like, on Disney Channel. You could watch it. Like, you know, it was like a collaboration. And the voice actors for The Secret Life of Arrietty were like, from the shows. Like, the older brother, David Henry in Wizards of Waverly Place is the voice actor for the male lead. The girl from Good Luck Charlie, the lead character in that, the oldest sister, she's the voice for Arrietty in it. And then suddenly everybody in my school it was cool to like Studio Ghibli movies, and it was being voiced by what I viewed as like poser, like Disney actors, like normies. Preps, and I never watched that shit off the strength of like how much I felt like something that I thought was very cool and authentic was being like infiltrated by Disney stars. Do you know what I mean? And I haven't gotten over that still, to be honest. It's probably a completely fine movie. I probably would enjoy it if I liked it. It put such a bad taste in my mouth at the tender age of like 12 to 13 that I never picked that shit up, and I don't have any interest really in watching it. I'm sure it's a perfectly nice film. 14-year-old me holds a grudge. I don't know what to tell you. Ponyo was fine. Ponyo was also kind of like dual. It was a dual Disney release. But that was more into the era where Disney was becoming a megacorp and they had their hands in everything. So I was over like being like, oh my god, Disney's in this. Like, I was over that. You know what I mean? By that point, it was just part of American culture that like Disney was like absorbing everything else. So I watched Ponyo. I watched Ponyo with a chip on my shoulder, but I did watch it and I did enjoy it, and I saw it later. I know people rave about Ponyo. I've never really... I get why people rave about it. It just never touched that, like, that nerve for me. Spirited Away will always be, like, that was my OG. And, again, the only one that's ever topped it is Boy and the Heron. Yeah. I was not happy about that merger. At all. And to my credit, I think Boy and the Heron was on HBO Max. So, like, they've desegregated themselves from Disney. Like, I'm back in it now. You know what I mean? It never really sat right with me, but I'm better about it now. If I had to open up Disney Plus to watch Boy and the Heron, that might have never happened. Because Disney's back on my shit list, to be quite honest. They can't get it together. And I say that as someone who knows, like, all of the Disney movies. You know what I mean? Like, I know all of the Disney movies. The animated ones, I've seen all of them. Except for, the Black Cauldron, but I've seen pretty much the equivalent of the entire Black Cauldron, just not like sit down in one piece. I'm more interested in the development and release of the Black Cauldron, because it's the Disney movie that almost got Disney like bankrupt as a corporation. Like they struggled and had to like make a whole bunch of shit like to get out of the hole the Black Cauldron put them in, and I know more about the production of Black Cauldron and its history in the Disney lexicon than I know about the actual movie. Like, I've seen The Sword in the Stone. I'm an OG. You know what I mean? And the niche Disney movies are better. I also have the controversial opinion where I really like Pocahontas as a movie. I just really think they should have named her literally anything but Pocahontas. That's my take. And I also really like the Pocahontas sequel, too. It's really good. And the Pocahontas sequel was the only time that Disney took criticism on one of their, like, media criticism on one of their movies and applied it, to the sequel. Like, and it's a very insecurely written movie, and a lot of it is backtracking and, like, getting some of that historical accuracy back, but it's good. It is really good. I also will not, hear anybody else out about conversations about who's their favorite Disney princess, or who's the prettiest, whatever. It's Pocahontas, and there was no other answer, actually. You thought they were going to draw a certified baddie like that, and I wasn't going to be on the fan team, like 100%. And I know that that's part of the problem, that she was drawn really pretty, but she was drawn really pretty. And I think it's very weird culturally that the same people that raise their hands and go actually Pocahontas is problematic because they over-sexualized her and she looks way too hot, also never say that she's the prettiest Disney princess. There's simultaneous for a princess that we talk a lot about how she's over-sexualized. Nobody actually ever talks about how pretty she is. It's only ever critiqued, and I think that's really weird. And it's been bothering me for centuries, because I tell people, they're like, who's your favorite Disney princess? And I go, obviously Pocahontas, because she's the prettiest, and people get confused, and those same people a week later will be like, actually that movie's problematic because they made her, she's barely wearing any clothes. But you didn't understand when I said that she's my favorite because she's the hottest. Okay, interesting. She mogs the rest of that lineup down bad. She mogs them bad every time. It looks like they weren't even trying with the rest of them. At all, which is crazy because Belle, whose name literally means beautiful, ain't really cutting up for me. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Do you know what I mean? Belle in that one outfit, that dress, sometimes. Pocahontas is mogging, clears everyone. They've never touched it since. The bitch's hair moves supernaturally. They had a whole animation team just for her hair. The Brazilian yaki down to my waist gets caught in my butt crack, it doesn't sit still. It doesn't quit moving on screen. I was hypnotized as a child, and I'm still hypnotized as an adult. I don't want to hear anything else. Nothing else about it. The only characters that they've ever made that were even slightly as fine were the fucking brothers in Brother Bear. How to read my tarot card by you. I have cameos. Sorry, that's a weird jump from conversations. And I swear I'm not fetishizing indigenous people. Can we put some effort into somebody else? You know what I mean? Other controversial statement. The Beast, human form, is the most attractive Disney prince, and I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear anybody else. I don't know why people keep going on the internet saying that man is the ugliest Disney prince. What the fuck is going on? What's in the tap water? He's gorgeous. He's classically gorgeous. He looks like a Roman statue. Nobody has any taste anymore. Fucking Justin Bieber rotted your brains. You guys don't know how to appreciate a man with a soft jawline and silky, luscious lips and long, flowing locks? What the fuck is wrong with you? And he used to be an animal? And he's tall as shit? What the hell? Oh, so Tarzan's hot because his jawline's sharp. Use your brain. Why does the difference in the softness of the line make such a huge difference? What is wrong with them? They're homophobic, that's what. That's all. Bisexuals know he's the hottest one. He's the most I'm sorry, it's gonna piss me off. Both these former human form. He mogs the rest of the princes, hands down. Shang is alright. And I know everybody cries about Shang. That's not even a thing. That is the K-pop industry brainwashing again. That's what that is, because Shang didn't really do too much on screen. Shang had basic human respect in a movie filled with misogynistic men. He gets bonus aura points for that, which means I have to deduct. Because if you put him in a lineup of actually well-drawn, fully developed Asian man, he wouldn't even make the top 3. He cruises on, he's the only man in that entire movie that looks like a person. The rest are caricatures. He's aura farming, and you guys fall for it. Come on. I don't want to hear a conversation about who's the hottest Disney prince when the Disney prince in question is the only person that's drawn with any integrity in the entire movie. They're handing it to you on a plate. You know who else everybody forgets about? Jane from Tarzan. Baddie. That's a baddie. And she's wearing damn near the same outfit as Belle, but less expensive, and she's clearing. The bitch is up against Vogue runway. They got Jane in fast fashion, and she's clearing. She's mogging. And nobody wants to talk about it. It's all Tarzan this. She's wearing petticoats. Jane with the petticoat, the one shoe and her hair all fucked up. Is that not? Okay. Sorry. I've been made to feel like I've been crazy for a century. We also leave Kita out of the lineup. Everybody's always, Chell from the Road to El Dorado this, Chell that. Kita's standing right there. Have you guys heard Kita's speaking voice? Can you close your eyes and listen to Kita? For like 5 seconds. Kita's introduction with her, like Chell, I get it. Chell is hot. Chell was also one of my bisexual awakenings, but it's bottom feeder content. You have to, I think Chell is hot. You have functioning eyes. Congratulations. Have some taste. You know what I mean? That's the verge. That's like going, pizza rolls are good. Yeah, everybody likes pizza rolls. How do you feel about fucking foie gras? You know what I mean? Get some cultured opinions. Something that's difficult to like. I don't understand. There's always some white woman going on about how their favorite Disney princess is Ariel and she's the most gorgeous one. No. Pocahontas is right there. Stop talking to me. You're pissing me off. Doc Hudson from Cars. Yeah, obviously. Every character from Cars is hot, and I'm including Mater. Every single character from Cars is hot. Every single one. And I know that you're in the back of your head, you're thinking of some background character, somebody that only has 2 lines, and you're like, surely not them. Yes, I thought of them. Yes, they are hot. They're all hot. That's why that movie's so popular. Even the little guy that holds the tires, he's hot too. They're all hot. Every single one. Mater's the hottest, actually. It's Mater, then Doc. And then, the Porsche. The love interest. And then Lightning McQueen. But Lightning McQueen is also tied with whatever dickhead car is competing with him in all the movies. Like, it's him tied with whatever, like, current frenemy rival he has. Do you know what I mean? You're my favorite ever. It's hard. It's a burden being right about everything all the time. It's work on my soul. I've been cultivating opinions for decades, and nobody wants to hear me out. Mater's hot. He's just hot in the way that somebody with Mater, you have to see the vision. Mater's that dude that everybody sees the dirt under his fingernails, and he's covered in grease, and he's got like a really bad grown out beard, and he's a little bit like on the heavier side, and his hair is all crazy, and they're like, oh, ew. He needs one of those. He needs a bisexual witchy baddie. I'm calling in the forces of the bisexual witch and blue collar working man, like magnetism. He needs one of those that's going to encourage him to stop using 5-in-1 wash, or like showering himself every once in a while, cut his hair for him, trim up his beard and clean under his fingernails, and you're going to see that he looks just like Pedro Pascal under all of that. I'm telling you. You just need to see the vision. And I think that that's canon for Mater in the second movies, and he's actually like a like he's just dirty. Do you know what I mean? No. Strawberry, stop. You know I'm right. You know, you gotta get some taste. Long gray ponytail, 110 pounds? Yeah. He is. He's literally, Bobby He's Bobby from Supernatural. At his worst. At his worst, he's Bobby. And if you wouldn't fuck Bobby, don't talk to me. Get off of my live. Get off of my live. You don't have to thirst after Bobby. That's a good man, Savannah. And there's not a lot of them. Anyways, we should do a tarot reading. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me switch my playlist. I'm being really loud also. What about Crowley? Yeah, Crowley's hot. Listen, I'm gonna always ask yourself, does he have on an outfit? And ask yourself, has he done something diabolical in the narrative of this media piece? I promise you, he's my favorite. It took me almost like 2 decades to untangle my proclivity for being super attractive to bad guys from my actual real life dating habits, because I kept getting into a cycle where I would like date the most fucked up, mean asshole guy that I could find because I think it's hot. And it turns out that like fan fiction lies and you can't actually fix them. It actually doesn't exist that a guy that's a total piece of shit but he has a soft spot for you and only you. That doesn't happen. He at best, he will have a temporary fixation with you and he has BPD and it's gonna switch in like 3 months. And you're gonna become his least favorite person in the world. Just take it from me as someone who did it and did it to death. It doesn't work. You actually have to date the nice ones, unfortunately. You do. I did it so you don't have to. But I kept having conversations with people and I would tell them about my exes and they'd be like, and you put up with that? Like, you just let him, like, scream at you? Like, he threw things sometimes and you were okay? And I was like, I don't know, I thought it was kind of sexy. Eventually the light bulb turned on. Eventually something clicked up here. I was watching an edit of Loki from the Marvel movies and a light bulb. Oh, yeah. Because it's not a movie, it's real life. And it's not actually Tom Hiddleston in a costume, it's an actual asshole. Reading because I'm sipping for a Wattpad boy. That's so real. They truly are diabolical. I like them. I like to think that I could fix them. And if they don't, I like to think that I could keep their I think the issue is if I was a bad person, I think it would work out. But I'm a good person. Like, a disgustingly good person. And I'm not, like, tooting my own horn. I have, like, morality OCD. Where, I have to do the right thing or else I think that I'm gonna die. So it stresses me out when they start to do evil. You know what I mean? I would love to be the, like, Harley Quinn to somebody's Joker. But unfortunately, I have ethics and morals. So, like, I find a Joker and I'm like, woo! Get it! Ooh! Ow! Oh, you're actually hurting people. Never mind. And then we start, and then instead of, like, leaving, I think that I could just, like, psychologically, like, manipulate him into being good. You know what I mean? So I start, like, Pavlov dogging my boyfriend to see if I could get him to be a better person. It's not good. I was made to be somebody's Harley Quinn. My brain won't cooperate. I'm working on it. You can't date the bad boy and then try and change him. You have to be cool with him killing the tri-state area. You know what I mean? Working on being worse. Yeah. I think it's important. I think that I'm so nice that I think that as a black person, I think that I need to start getting my licks back via privilege. Okay, here's what I think that as a black person, society is very unjustly tilted against me, and I think that I need to learn how to be a little bit unfair or cut a couple corners to tip the scales back in my favor, because I don't think that, like, waiting for life to be fair is, like, ever gonna work when you're African American. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking about, like, do diabolical stuff, but you know what I mean? If you gotta lie on your resume to get a job because they won't hire you because you're black, do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff is what I'm talking about. Like you gotta learn to, like, stick your foot in the door and, like, wedge it there. Because you're not gonna get a fair shot otherwise. I had to learn that pretty recently in dating, that I don't want to tell this story because it's gonna get me in trouble. If I could be vague, my dating pool, I'm always competing against white women with big tits and BPD, and I learned how to take some cheap shots where I need to even out the playing field. Do you know what I mean? Because I can be the perfect partner, I could be, like, more put together, more well-spoken, bring more to the table, and I will lose in a fair fight because she's white, and that's, like, bonus aura. If I gotta trigger a bitch into having a very public meltdown to, like, show that she's crazy so that I can get my deserved spot as somebody's, like, love interest as I should be, I will. Because otherwise, and I've played the game a million times, they will just pick her, forget about me, and then, like, they'll break up anyways because she's psycho. Do you know what I mean? It's like watching somebody go home with a dog that you know is gonna bite. So you, like, trigger the dog into biting beforehand. So they can go, oh, I don't want that puppy. And you're like, yeah, I thought not. It's the cutest puppy, though, huh? Speed reality. Yeah. And mind you, that is a lesson that I learned from playing fair over and over and over again and getting the shit end of the stick. Do you know what I mean? Which is usually my MO, is that I play the game very, very fairly until I determine that nobody's going to give me a fair shot, and then I start playing a little bit unfair. I start getting my lick backs. That's how I got into this inner shit. Bravo. Isn't it exhilarating? Is it not better to, like, leave anyone that doesn't see it? I mean, yeah, sometimes. But, like, if the final product is them always ending up in bad relationships and me always ending up single, and I could do something about that, why would I not do it? Do you know what I mean? Some things are, like, go where you're wanted, and some things are, like, patterns that will continue to repeat until you interrupt the pattern. And discernment will teach you which is which, but in this case it was the latter of, like, that's, like, at some point you get to a point where you're like, this is the thing that, like, my type has a type, and I keep watching the same thing play out over and over again, so if I know where this is going, why don't I just intervene? Do you know what I mean? Instead of living out the same exact repetitive scenario dozens of times. You know how to ask me for a tarot reading? I do cameos. If you go to my profile, there's a link in cameos where I do tarot readings. And that will give you a box where you can, like, ask the question in, and you can, like, put it into translate and do it. My only concern is that I speak English, and I'm a very, very fast English speaker. Naturally, I know that I have an issue where people who are not native English speakers have a hard time understanding me, so I may not be the reader for you, but you're welcome to try if you feel like it. I don't have any method. I technically still do email readings, and I could do an email reading. They're more expensive, and you could translate it back, but nobody's got an email reading for me in ages, because it's decidedly more expensive. But, yeah, there you go. Learn how to lie, because these neurotypicals got me beat, yeah. That's the thing. Wonderful day, in the neighborhood when I learned that you don't actually have to, like, tell the truth all the time. And that the reason why a lot of people keep their friends and their family members happy with them is that they learn when it's okay to tell a little white lie. The autistic knowledge that when somebody asks you how they look or what you think, it's okay actually sometimes to be conflict avoidant and just say you don't care, it's fine, or it looks good is life-changing. And it's one of those things where it's like, because again, whenever I do this, there's always, like, an autistic person that's like, I shouldn't have to lie to make people like me, right? But that's not actually what's happening. Autism is a social disability, right? We don't have some skills that other people do have, right? That's one of those skills. It is, like, actually like a skill issue, right? So your options are that you can either commit to being brutally honest with everybody and you can struggle with relationships for the rest of your life, or you can learn how to lie and you can have good friends. Do Do you know what I mean? Those are the only two options. Like, that's actually the answer. Do you know what I mean? The reason why non-autistic people are able to, like, keep long-term relationships and have them be very low conflict and chill is because they have learned when to pick a fight and when to let it go. Do you know what I mean? And to the autistic brain, it feels like, if I really care about you and, like, I love you, I'm going to be honest with you all the time, but that's not actually, like, a functional way to socialize with somebody. It's actually, like, in theory, it sounds good. In practice, you are just becoming confrontational 24/7 and everything is an argument when talking to you. You know what I mean? And in my point in my life, I don't even really like to have those discussions, so I will just kind of, like, non-confrontational my way through it and let people live their life and make their choices. And if I get to a point where I cannot handle it anymore and I don't like the way the person is living their life, I will vacate the friendship. Often without letting them know why I left. Because I also used to be, people are like, oh, people need, like, they want accountability. They want, I don't want questions. You have to, like, give me closure. That is the opposite, where that's the thing that, like, neurotypicals say that they want closure or they want accountability, and they will bemoan you and, like, demonize you for not giving it to them. But in practice, if you are, like, leaving a relationship or a friendship and you send that person an itemized list and explanation of every reason why you don't want to be friends with them anymore, it's not taken that way. They don't go, oh, thanks for letting me know, glad that I don't have any questions. You have just initiated an argument. Because whether neurotypical people know it or not, going to somebody and telling them what problems you have with them is read as an invitation to negotiate. If you're talking to them about it, they perceive that subconsciously as you're letting me know that you have issues because you want to work on it. Even if you're saying, I'm leaving you because it's negotiation. Anything but leaving and slamming the door and not discussing anything is perceived as, like, you still want to work this out. So if you want to work it out, by all means give them their rights, right? If you are done and you just want to be done, just be done. Giving them a manifesto is going to do absolutely nothing except for start an argument and hurt their feelings. And they're going to beg you for the manifesto. Do you know how many people I've had tell me, just be honest with me, I just want to know, and then I tell them what they just begged me for, and then they cuss me out and call me every name under the book every single time they don't want it. Stop giving it to them. Stop giving it to them. Ghosting is actually okay in some circumstances. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time, it doesn't actually benefit the person to know why. And you can think, oh, well, so they need to better themselves. I'm a firm believer that a lot of the time, that person's going to find the person for them. It wasn't my flavor of tea. I'm not going to tell you what I hated about the tea, because I don't want you to change your flavor for the person who it's really going to, like, be with. Because a lot of that stuff is just subjective. It's like, I'm just not the friend for you. I'm just not the partner for you. And the people that actually have deep-rooted issues that they need to fix if it's deep-rooted enough that you're going to leave them, I promise you their ears are closed. They're not going to hear a damn thing you're telling them about the actual accountability they need to take. They're not going to be accountable. Because if they were capable of being accountable, they wouldn't have the issue so bad that you would leave the relationship in the first place. Save your breath. Do you know what I mean? I'm not scared to hurt somebody's feelings. I don't like to hurt somebody's feelings unproductively. So if I feel like I'm just going to tell you a bunch of stuff that you're going to, like, hurt about, and it's not going to help you grow, or it's not something you need to hear, you're not going to take it to heart, I'm not going to bother talking. Do you know what I mean? And usually, by the time I have decided I don't want to be in this dynamic with you anymore, it is because part of the reason why I even reached that point is because I've also been able to gauge that you are not open to changing or willing or able to, like, develop quickly enough for me to stay in this relationship in the first place. You know what I mean? A lot of the times, if you have to, like, spell it out for them, you're already in hell. Do you know what I mean? Think of it this way. Like, a really good example of this is, like, people who date men or are married to men. Women say this a lot, who, like, don't pull their weight around the house, right? So they'll marry a man, and he won't do his laundry. He'll leave dishes all over the place, da-da-da-da. And so the woman will get on this thing where she's like, I'm going to teach him to be accountable. I'm going to go and be like, you need to clean up after yourself. You need to do this. You need to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Do you know what actually solved? Have you ever heard of anybody who belittled and, like, yelled at and, like, tricked their husband into being, like, better, right? You can have somebody that doesn't respect you enough to keep your space mutually clean, and you can ride uphill with that person trying to, like, force them to be better at stuff that they don't want to be better at by threatening to leave or, whatever. You can do that. most of the internet, and I will also tell you, it's easier and smarter and a lot less stressful to just have the dignity to go find somebody that doesn't have those issues. And that is almost always the solution. You will almost never get anywhere going back and forth ping-ponging with somebody about changing fundamental aspects of their personality. It is easier to find somebody that just doesn't do those things. Do you know what I mean? Take these insults before I go. Yeah. It's one of those things. I just don't, I've never been able to successfully lecture somebody into being a better person. And a lot of the time, I feel like hell is explaining basic decency to people who I care about, who I think care, or who claim to care about me. Do you know what I mean? If I'm upset because I feel like my friends keep coming over to my house and trashing the place, and every time they come over, my place is a wreck, and they don't help me clean up, I could go and sit my friend down and go like, hey, that really upsets me that you do that. Stop trashing my place. But, like, the older I get, the more the louder part of my brain goes, why the fuck do I have to explain to a grown-ass person not to trash my house all the time? I don't actually have to demean myself to explain basic decency to you. I'm just gonna stop talking to you. Do you know what I mean? And weaponized incompetence thrives when you baby people and tell them, well, I just need to let them know that what they're doing is bothering me. Either they already know and they don't care because they think they're getting away from it, or they lack the emotional intelligence and maturity to know that that's not something they should be doing in the first place, right? If you have specific things that you don't like, you don't like being tickled, it gives you panic attacks. I really hate it when people wear shoes in my house. Those are things you could sit down, people go, when you wore shoes in my house, it really pissed me off, stop doing that. It's stuff that's just not common sense. Don't beg people or lecture people or ask people to do the bare minimum of things they should already do. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of, like, some corners of, like, therapy, social media will tell you that, like, oh, have you considered talking to your partner about it? Do they know that that hurts you? And half the time the question I want to ask is, like, why is that not something that a basic grown adult is supposed to know hurts somebody else? You know what I mean? And you don't have to demonize them for it. Just, like, find somebody that's at your maturity level. You know what I mean? Instead of explaining to your partner, like, it really hurts me when you compare my body to cartoon characters in the bedroom. When we're, like, being intimate and you tell me that I look like Mickey Mouse, it hurts my feelings. You shouldn't have to explain that to somebody. And I think that it's actually, like, doing a lot of damage to, like, take this narrative, sell people this narrative that you have to explain everything that hurts your feelings to other people and tell them why it hurts their feelings and show them why they shouldn't do that. It's weaponized incompetence on, like, a psychological level, I think. But also, I don't have a lot of time and energy for that, so I don't do it anymore. Do I look like Mickey Mouse? I stole that from a Am I the Asshole post, by the way. That's an actual thing that somebody went through with their boyfriend. If I remember correctly, they were being intimate with their partner, who was a man. They were a woman. Being intimate with their partner, and they were on top, and their boyfriend started laughing, and when they asked why was he laughing, he said, you look like Danny DeVito as the Penguin. And she broke up with him over it. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. And there were people in that comment section being like, she should have, like, like, that's no reason to end a multi-year relationship, but I'm team, like, a grown-ass person should know that it's not the time for it, And here's we fully segue, right? Autistic people, it's okay if your partner looks kind of weird from a certain angle while being intimate, and you laugh about it. That is an appropriate time to lie when they ask you what you're laughing about. Say, I just thought of something. I was thinking about, like, a joke somebody made in 5th grade. Lie. Do lie. Do lie. It's okay. It's actually, like, much better if you do. I know it may not make sense. Lie. Socializing well is lying a little bit all the time. It's okay. And you have to learn to lie when appropriate to lie, And you also have to learn that sometimes you're going to recognize when other people are lying to you out of politeness, and to not be weird about it and understand that they're doing that because they care about you. They don't want to hurt your feelings, and you don't have to, like, take it personally. Do you know what I mean? I'm very good at spotting when somebody's, like, lying to me to be nice. It is kind of them to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, in human adult social world, it is like the equivalent of somebody like making you still wouldn't lie in that situation. You don't have to listen to me. Wait, I feel like I've lost track of those comments. It's okay to lie if you think about something mean. Not every thought, what do you say? Not every thought has to be an outside thought. As somebody with, like, pretty extreme anxiety, oh, this song is, Stick of Gum by Nemesis, but it's spelled Nemahsis. I think Stick of Gum would get you the song on its own, though. I don't think you need the band name. It's a pretty popular song. How can you know if you're the one using weaponized incompetence or it's autism? That's, I can't give a simple answer to that. That requires the context of the situation, mixed with a little bit of, like, life experience. And that's just something that you learn as you go along. Sometimes it's autism, sometimes it's weaponized incompetence. And both things happen. Sometimes people do need, like, accommodations. As autistic people, we need to be socialized with or are handheld in certain ways in order to, like, understand social situations. And sometimes people are being willfully ignorant and covering it with, like, oh, I'm autistic, I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? The middle point that I would say is that as an autistic person, if you need accommodation or you need to be around people that can accommodate you socially and, like, help bridge the gaps in, like, where you, like, struggle with socialization, it is your responsibility to recognize and advocate for your own needs, which means that if somebody is unable to meet those needs or unwilling to, get away from them and find people who are, right? On the other hand, neurotypical people need to stay away from autistic people if they're not willing to accommodate. It is also, like, their right if they don't want to deal with you because of your lacking in social skills. Do you know what I mean? They don't have to be nasty about it, but it is, like, labor that you're asking from other people that not everybody is capable of or willing to do, and it's, like, there has to be a mutual thing of, like, you have to be, like, I need these things from the people in my life. If you can't give them, I'm out. And they also need to be allowed to do the same for you and say, like, I just don't want to deal with this, and leave. And I think it should be treated as kind of like a two-way door of, like, if you don't want to be here, I'm glad to see you go. Do you know what I mean? It's just difficult because as autistic people, when we feel safe with somebody or engage with somebody or when we make a person our special interest, it can be very stressful when that person no longer wants contact with us. But that is something as an autistic person you either have to find some coping skills to cope with that, or you have to learn that even if you're feeling those big feelings, it is unreasonable for you to, like, hold other people to that. Do you know what I mean? It's complicated stuff. I'm an autistic person who does need to be accommodated for, but I also have a lot of practice with socializing and have learned a thing or two. And if you are an autistic person, I joke about this sometimes, but as an autistic person that, like, have learned pretty decent social skills, and the ability to read a room and stuff like that, when I do encounter, like, autistic people that don't have those skills, I do find it sometimes as stressful as neurotypicals do. It's a joke. That I say, I think sometimes when I message my friends, I'll, like, send them something, like, particularly irritating, and I'll be like, I'm actually, I'm ableist now. Like, that's, like, the joke that I'll play, but it's me, like, being able to relate from both perspectives, but specifically in this context, the neurotypical's perspective of, like, if you know better than another autistic person, you will understand how neurotypicals, like, really sometimes get put through the ringer dealing with us, right? On the same end, there's a lot of stuff neurotypical people do that they just do just to do, and their social process could be refined in some ways that autistic people could probably, like, do you know what I mean, fine-tune. And they can be very irritating to deal with as well. I see both sides. It's like one of those things where we gotta like figure something out. But like a lot of the time, and because ableism exists, a lot of the time it is neurotypical people being unfair to autistic people and not giving very reasonable accommodations that they could because they hate us. But also sometimes, every once in a while, the autistic person is being unreasonable and lacks the social skills to understand they're being unreasonable. We see this a lot in like fandom spaces or spaces dominated by autistic people, like the Discord joke of like, I'm autistic and all capital letters trigger me, so everybody in the Discord has to use lowercase letters. That is a really good like example of like unreasonable stuff. And no, that's also an autistic stereotype. Very true. Not all of us are like that, but I also am an autistic person that knows an autistic person who's like that. Do you know what I mean? And then when I encounter one of them, you get a small taste of like the scale of what it's sometimes like for like neurotypical people to interact with autistic people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that making any sense? I'm trying not to sound like I'm like licking the feet of my oppressor too much here. It's just like a very complicated thing socially. That like as a general rule across the spectrum, people underestimate how irritating it is to deal with somebody that's less socially developed as you. Another really good example is adults dealing with children. And how quickly people on the internet will like see children like being immature, asking personal questions. They're like, oh, I couldn't be a teacher. I would have smacked the hell out of a kid. It's the same concept. It's the same concept. It is very, very difficult to interact with somebody that is below your emotional intelligence level. And there are very few people that have the patience and the empathy to bridge that gap without losing their cool. Do you know what I mean? I just think that like, while I sometimes sympathize with some aspects of the neurotypical frustration, I also think that as a grown adult, it's your job to know that irritates you. Like, you don't get to, like, be irritated by children and not have the patience by children, and not have the patience to be around children and then place yourself around children and be nasty to them. As it's your job as an adult to go, I don't have the patience to be kind to children, but they're not objectively doing anything wrong and they deserve kindness. I'm not going to put myself in spaces around children or leave myself alone with children because I do not have the patience to be nice to them. And I do think the neurotypical people need to work on that. Of, like, leaving autistic-dominated spaces if they don't have what it takes to, like, deal with it. Do you know what I mean? It's your responsibility to manage your triggers, more or less. You know what I mean? Now you want to watch Fringe? Oh, it's impossible for me to capture any nuanced point of view that I have in any weird way. I also like feel like I'm playing devil's advocate a lot, but I also just think everything's really nuanced. I spend a lot of time on here, I feel like, defending like men and oppressors just because I see different angles that other people don't. But also know that I'm always talking to an audience that I think understands the basics. I'm pretty sure if we're all in here, we all understand ableism, bad, disabled people. One of, if not the most disenfranchised group globally. Like, that's, I'm assuming we all get that stuff, and so I'm fine-tuning. See it as challenging themselves, like a new game level unlocked. Yeah, I think so as well. It's like an ego thing. Also, maybe sometimes it's like, what is it? Exposure therapy. But I also think that, like, it's, if you're doing exposure therapy, you gotta know your limits. You know what I mean? If you're trying to get better about, like, being nice to children or get better at, like, the way you deal with people of color, you also gotta take, you know, baby steps. You know what I mean? You don't get to, like, exposure therapy yourself at, like, the local beach and, like, decide that you're gonna, like, deal with your fear of drowning by just straight up jumping in the water and then screaming and having the police get called and ruin everybody's afternoon. It's your job to, like, be an adult and know to, like, sit on the edge of the pier and put your foot in the water with a trusted friend and, like, a comfort object. And start there. Do you know what I mean? Lack of self-awareness. I would agree with that. I also think that the average person is remarkably, like, unself-aware. Like, remarkably. I'm gonna do exposure therapy by going up to strangers for interviews. Socializing is really complicated stuff. I'm not even very good at it, I don't think. I'm very good at accommodating myself, I'll say that. If you were to drop me and I think the average TikToker's live stream audience, I think you guys would like really be disappointed by how I handled that. Or how I would handle that. I think part of the reason why you guys think that I'm like charming and interesting to watch and engaging is because I know my limits and what I can handle, and I moderate my space heavily to make sure that it's always in a threshold where I can like have my needs met. Do you know what I mean? I do want to do some tarot. I've been pulling cards for a nonsense reading. Self-regulation is charming. My thing, I can only be cool when I'm self-regulated. That's the thing. I can, if I want to, I can work a full-time job and I can be around crowds of people. And I can fill my day up with a lot of productive activities, but I become a really nasty person to be around because I'm overstimulated all the time. And I do, between you and me, I come from a long line of very aggressive black women, and my personal highly observed theory is that most if not all of them are either like very mentally ill or just straight up autistic, and were not allowed or aware that they needed to accommodate themselves, and so they became very aggressive, easily overstimulated, hypercritical, violent, controlling adults because they forced themselves into a workspace without any accommodations, and it like wreaked havoc on their brain. It's one of those things where I think that a lot of like the people in my family, the women that are abusers, if they were on disability and staying at home and like meeting their needs like the way that they should be as like probably autistic people, they would be very nice, sweet ladies. But because they are like running around talking to everybody, working a full-time job, and they're in survival mode, they are very unpleasant to be around because they are overstimulated 100% of the time that they've ever been alive. I know everybody thinks that I'm like really chill and like cool and nice. I am so unchill when I'm working a full-time job. I'm a piece of work. Really bad. I have really bad hanger issues, like so bad. To the point where my current partner, like, when I say I'm hungry, I'll say I'm getting hungry, and then my next warning is like, I'm getting hangry, I need to eat right now, and he will just get up and go get food, and like, that's because I will get unreasonably nasty. Unreasonably nasty. And it's not even something that I can control. The only thing I can do is be aware of it and be vocal about it, and only spend time with people that take my hunger very seriously. I lost a friend recently. I stopped talking to a very close friend of mine because we were going out and doing an activity together. I'm going to be vague about this because I don't really want to talk about it yet. We were out doing stuff, and that person, after I told them that I was like maxed out, I was at my max, continued to like extend what we were doing long enough that I was getting into a headspace that I didn't really like being in. And like, part of it was that it was dangerous because I was like very, very sleep deprived and I was driving everybody. And I, as the driver, as the designated driver, was like, it's time to go, and I was ignored. After like I hadn't slept all day. It was that. There was more stuff on top of it because it was a day and an event that was supposed to be about me. So when I wanted to leave, should have been the time we left anyways. But most importantly, that was somebody who I had to draw the line with and be like, you're not a safe person for me to be around, because my ability to socialize and go out and be friends with people as an autistic person hinges on you taking my boundaries seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will go hiking with you, and I'm cool to go hiking with you, but when I tell you my allergies are acting up and my knee is starting to hurt, I'm tapped out, I need to go home, we need to turn around. Do you know what I mean? If you can't respect that, I can't go anywhere with you. You're not going to have me limping through the woods and out on my ass for another 2 weeks, unable to do my job because I have to elevate my foot and like do nothing but take pain meds and like regulate for days because you don't take my pain seriously. So it was one of those things where, because I'm autistic, I have like a limit of the way that I like to like live my life, of like, this is what I need in order to be functioning. And this person took it upon themselves when I told them my limit to go, and I think you can go a little bit longer. And when I tell you, we never spoke again. That person does not know why I don't talk to them anymore. We were friends for a decade, and I literally, it's dust, smoke. I went home we had like maybe one other conversation. I gave them one more chance, and they did it again. And I didn't even show up to the event this time because it was going the same exact way. And they never heard. They literally sent me a message being like, "So we're really never going to talk again?" Yeah, no, that's it. I'm good. Do that all the time for each other, and the gag is that it was another autistic person. But the thing is, it was an autistic person who, to be honest, I knew extended themselves. It's a person that I know that's autistic that insists on working a full-time job, will not take accommodations, regularly like burns themselves out and does too much and ignores their limits. And that's fine because it's not my fucking business. If you want to burn yourself out, that is fine. You want to work a job that you can't deal with, you want to like snap at people all the time because you do that, leave me out of it. And we were good friends until the day that they decided that I could literally see in their head them being like, "Oh, well, I know that you're tired, but I get tired all the time and I just deal with it, so you'll be fine." And I was like, yeah, I don't want to live like you. I'm not doing that. I respect your dumbass shit. I need you to respect my shit, even though you think it's stupid as well. I don't care. I think that you should have quit your job. I let you do what you want to do. When I say I want to go home is when I'm going home. And I need that mutual respect. You can be stupid all you want. You can destroy your body. Don't destroy mine. Not doing that. This one friend group called the Suicide Hotline Cops Mask because I didn't want to be your friend. I thought that was a unique experience. You too? That happened to you too? Why did they do that? Why did they do that? I genuinely thought I had a unique experience. I am so sorry. I went through that shit too. Literally bar for bar. Bar for bar. Told them I got a lot of shit going on right now in my personal life, some of which they witnessed. Please leave me alone. I need my space. Wee woo, wee woo. And then I started calling home wellness checks back, and everybody got big mad. Why did you send a wellness check to my house? Why did you, bitch? It's not nice being woken up in the middle of the night, is it? It's not cool, is it? Wow, because I didn't want to go hang out with you. You thought I was having a mental crisis when I told you in plain English. That's crazy. That's crazy. And you know what even bigger gag? I think I've done that to somebody as well. I have an ex that abruptly broke up with me randomly, like on a Tuesday night, abruptly was like, never speak to me again with no prompting whatsoever. And it was somebody who had a history of mental illness. Like really bad mental illness and drug use, and I thought that they were having a breakdown, so I accepted the breakup, but I like drove to their place to check on them, and they got really, really upset. And valid at the time, I still stand by it because I also have like I have a history of people circling the block with me, and it was one of those, that person is somebody that I think would have circled the block, and I would have like accepted them back at any given time. So sometimes I activate the little switch in my brain where I keep like the things that probably could be classified as BPD. I switch it on purpose because if I show a certain amount of crazy to somebody when we end like a dynamic or relationship, it'll scare them off from ever circling the block, right? So I stand by that because I think that that was fine. Like, worst case scenario, if I scared them off for good, that's good because that's somebody in hindsight I probably should never have in my life, and I would have just let them back in. But also, I had to look back on it. I was like, damn, did I just do to them what happened to me? And the lesson I took away from that is to care less. So let people do their own stuff, which I feel fine doing because I'm autistic and I can barely meet my own needs. I know that somebody's going to be like, well, if you're being a friend, you're obligated to care about your friend's mental health. I don't have the facilities or the resources or the time or the energy to meet my own needs. If you want to yourself, go ahead. I'm not doing any more house calls. I'm not calling nobody nothing. I'm not. I'm going to mind my black ass business for the rest of my days. Go ahead. You got it, Bookie. Lesson learned. I will never, and honestly, what do I look like caring more about somebody else's mental health than myself? I need to be on medication. Why am I calling a wellness check for you? I need to call one for me. Do you know what I mean? Weird. And as a black person, and most of these stories involve white people, never doing that again. Never doing that again. Stepped in his window to tell him my dream. I've also, and I think part of the lesson is that as an autistic person, I do have like the advanced empathy autistic, and I think the level of empathy that I have for other people is actually inappropriate, and I need to like chill and like let people just fuck up their own lives if they want to. Because in my perspective, for a lot of my life, I was feeling like if I'm a good friend, I shouldn't let my friends do this. Like, if I know that they're making decisions that could affect their life, I should intervene. I actually do, like, at my big age of 30, realize that that's inappropriate behavior. Your friends are allowed to fuck up their life if you want to. And to be honest, they will never thank you for it. There are some times when you should intervene, but just know that intervention 9 times out of 10 comes at the cost of that friendship. You know what I mean? If your friend is has an eating disorder and you snitch on them and you tell the cops or their parents or whatever and they get put in rehab, you'll save their life. They will probably never talk to you again 9 times out of 10. You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one. It is also a great and effective tool for getting people to leave you alone for the rest of your days. Nothing prevents a psychopath from circling the block like them thinking that you're woo-woo crazy. Very effective tactic. It's the equivalent of like when somebody's trying to like traffic you and you start like and then they go pick another victim. It's basically that. Which has always been my go-to strategy. It's more effective than you think. Just in general. And I know what you're thinking. What if a guy cat calls me and I like howl at him and he howls back? Well, baby, you found your soulmate. Somebody's matching your freak. What are you complaining about? That wasn't a cat call. That was a call in. Do you know what I mean? It's a no-loss strategy. You guys are laughing. I'm being so serious. That's how you know you have chemistry. At least for me, I'm a bit of a be serious and also be funny. You know what? You're so right. Bark like you want it. No, literally. I told my partner literally not even 12 hours ago, I'm hanging out with him tomorrow. I told him to not bother trimming his beard hair because I was going to pluck the hairs out myself with my teeth one by one. And he was like, okay. You got to find somebody that matches your freak. If I say that and you're like, ew, get away from me, we're just not meant to be. So I'm going to say some off-the-wall shit. Do you know what I mean? Okay, we'll do tarot this time. For real. What playlist am I on? I meant to switch to my deviants. And I don't think I did. Type of video tried asking me to send a video of him eating glue. That's so legit. Did you say yes? If it was recent, can you say yes and send it to me? I want that. Marry him. What kind of glue? Like hot glue or like Elmer's? You don't know. You didn't ask. I know you didn't. I don't even want it for sexual purposes. I'm just curious. Like, that's quality content. I love men. I'd watch them do anything. Thought he was joking, so I asked if he ate paper. Would it be paper mache in his stomach? You matched his freak. Why aren't you guys married? Do you know what I think happens sometimes? I had this one dude that I matched with on Hinge, and his whole profile, he was kind of cute. His whole profile was him being like, he has like, I don't remember what it's called, but it was like a feeder fetish, but it wasn't like it was a fetish for him being like eating and gorging himself. And it was like all over his profile. He had normal stuff on there too, but he definitely had a very specific kink. Was trying to make sure people knew about it. So I matched with him, right? We were talking, and I was like, what are you up to? Da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, I just ate a whole pizza. Like, by myself, I'm such a fat ass. And I was like, oh, yeah, go. You know, I could eat a whole pizza if I wanted to. You know what I mean? That's actually mad impressive, dude. Like, like, by myself, I'm such a fat ass. And I was like, oh, yeah, go. You know, I could eat a whole pizza if I wanted to. You know what I mean? That's actually mad impressive, dude. Like, you humiliation kink mixed in with it. And I think that I missed that prompt. I think he wanted to be shamed for it. And I was, like, blissfully supportive of his dreams. It really upset me. I thought I was doing the right thing. He didn't tell me the rules of the game. If he told me he wanted to be humiliated, I would have done that. I would have been mean, but he didn't tell me. So I was letting it be known that I didn't mind. He got so mad. Not the man for you then. Yeah, he clearly wasn't. It's a very weird conversation. It was a lot of like, I was being normal, and he was like, I used to be skinnier, I put on a whole bunch of weight, and I was like, that's cool, you know, live your life. I like my man at any size, like, you know, I think you look good to me. And he was like, I ate a whole pizza tonight, I'm disgusting. And I was like, it's not disgusting, like, some people don't get to eat, you know what I mean? You're eating, that's good, right? Unmatched, alright, okay. Fuck me then. Also, heads up for people, I'm leaving for the weekend, so if you were going to get a 24-hour reading, I would book it today because I'm turning off 24 hours for the weekend. It'll be back on Monday. Unless you're, like, super cool with getting a tarot video of me in my car. Because I'll be away from home. Ate a full small pie of Domino's pizza. Sorry, I have, like, gas. I have a burp that's, like, stuck right here. Unironically, deeply impressive to me. I'm someone with a small appetite. I love when people finish all their food in front of me. Makes me very happy. I live vicariously through it. Let's see what our tarot question is. I might also... We'll see how it goes. I want to do a impromptu, like, sim stream tomorrow. Where I just, like, start a stream. I don't really have a time for it, because I have stuff to do tomorrow, but I want to see if I have time in the morning, like, beforehand to do stuff. I'm trying to get into the habit of that, because I know we do, like, Sims on Tuesday, but I also play Sims off camera sometimes, and I've been thinking about, like, just, like, playing when I normally would, and instead of, like, announcing the stream, just, like, streaming it, and if you're in there, you can be in there, and if not, I can just be fooling. That way you know what I mean? I always assume nobody's going to come to the sim stream. They're always, like, a lot more active than I ever expect them to. I'm really liking the vampire subplot line, though. And we still have a lot of building that we need to do. A lot. But I, like, perpetually have things that I need to build in my Sims game. That's the biggest issue. How best can I nurture and support my spiritual wellness? That's a nothing question. And then I got option 1, option 2. Are you playing Sims 4? Yeah. I do Sims 4 on YouTube. And I have some of the live streams up, already. Usually we do that Tuesdays at 6 Eastern Standard Time. 6 p.m. But you can go watch all the streams that I've done. They're on there. I have, like, a really, I didn't, like, start a save game for Sims. I'm a simmer, and I, like, just started playing my game. If you want to watch, if you find the very first Sim streams I did, the beginning of that Sim stream, I spend the first, like, 20 minutes explaining, 20 minutes explaining, like, all the families that I play, and the lore. It is modded. Not heavily. I would say that my mods blend in pretty well with the game. I have a lot of hair and a lot of clothes. Well, a lot of hair, mostly. And, like, little bits of items. I spent, like, 20 minutes explaining how my families are interconnected. And then I would watch that. You don't have to. I think it's pretty easy to follow even if you don't. I do a pretty good job of explaining stuff, but I like do a rotational save where I started with one sim and now we're playing her great grandchildren, I would say, and that's where I dropped everybody else in. So we kind of just like bounce around. It's not the kind of like stream where you have to feel like, oh, I wasn't here from the very beginning, like, so I can't watch it. Everybody but me is getting partial lore all the time. I'm the only one that's seen everything because I've been playing that save for like 3 years before I ever started streaming it. Do you know what I mean? So we're all like equal. You're all equally on the same page. And thus far, people have been enjoying it, so I feel pretty confident that you can jump in at any time and enjoy it. Somebody that I used to know is such a classic. We'll do Terra. Give me a second. Let me figure out what these cards say. And when Paralyzed comes out, we'll be playing Paralyzed too. I'm currently just a little bit all over the place though. Because I had some health issues, and then also I've been nocturnal on a nocturnal sleep schedule for the last like year and a half. For whatever reason, this month I was finally able to switch my sleep schedule back to daytime. So I've been waking up at 6 a.m., which is not good because my streams are 6 p.m. and I get tired around like 7:30 now. So I've been struggling a little bit. You should stream Animal Crossing? I should. I got back into Animal Crossing as well. Moldy actually showed me how. We might. It's very weird because I have no aspirations of becoming a streamer, per se. This is more of like, I want to play video games with my friends. It's not like a career venture. We're having fun in Boolean. It's like group sims, you know what I mean? But I feel weird about it because when I'm not doing Sims, I'm gaming 24/7, so it's a big part of my personality. So I keep getting excited about wanting to play things and like show you guys. But I feel like it looks like I'm one of those like failed influencers that's trying to pivot into another niche, but that's not really what's happening. I remember who it was. Somebody told me that I should split my channel. I should make a separate channel for Sims stuff and keep the tarot and Sims separate, and I don't care to do that. Do you know what I mean? I don't have the time or energy. I understand that's probably the better thing to do, but there's one or two of the Sim streams are like aggressively long, and I am very sorry about that. There was like one time where I was streaming for like 10 hours. But I'm working on like a 3-hour limit now. I'm just very weird with the Sim streams where like I know I get on TikTok and I'm guaranteed at least 30 people in here. Sims, I haven't had an empty stream yet. But it's never, you know, I never really feel certain. I think we average about like 11 like very vocal people in there, but it's like, you know what I mean, like it's very plausible. I feel like that I could open up and everybody could be busy. Do you know what I mean? So I'm a little bit like weirder about Sim stream because there is something like slightly humiliating about being on a stream by yourself. But I'm kind of trying to work on it because I wanna just like stream while I'm playing normally, so I can be okay with having nobody in there if that's what happens. You know what I mean? Didn't know you could story mode Sims. What do you mean? It's all story mode. You gotta use your imagination a little bit, but it's fun. The tarot question in question is how best can I nurture and support my spiritual wellness, right? The overall energy with the Page of Cups and the Three of Cups, this Page of Cups reads, "Oh, that my young life were a lasting dream." So there's something here about, like, you need to take a break. This is kind of like you need to go to the bar and, like, let loose kind of energy. That's such a distracting song to specifically have right now. And I would agree with that. There's something here about, like, letting loose, being a little bit irresponsible. The rest of this, I think that, like, you're maybe going through something. There was a little bit in the first reading that I did. There was a little bit of a vibe of, like, something happened to you that you're still, like, patching yourself up from, or, like, recovering from, right? And I don't want to give you, like, if you want to recover from that thing, like, do this, because it doesn't seem to be that kind of thing. It almost kind of feels like something tipped you off balance, or dysregulated you, or, like, something was in your life that shouldn't have been, and now it's gone, and you're returning back to your normal, regular, scheduled, like, patterns, or the way that you should be operating. But that's not something that you can speed up. It kind of, the example that I kind of want to give is, like, if you imagine, like, if there's, like, a river, and, a beaver dam was built there, and it's like, biologically, beavers are very good at figuring out where to make dams, so it's not really an issue that you have, but imagine the beaver's fucked up, and the dam was gone where it wasn't supposed to be, and so all that water that's being held up needs to go somewhere, right? So you've done the equivalent of, like, now your water's all the way up here and it's been blockaded off. The dam just got moved. It's released, right? So your water's flowing. So you're kind of asking me, how can I, like, heal this riverbed that's been, like, ruined by this dam? And my answer is, like, the water's already going where it's supposed to go. Like, you removed the dam, it's flowing. It'll eventually return back to where it is. Like, it'll even out. There's, like, a river upstream that has too much water. There's one downstream that doesn't have enough water. Give it a month or two and it'll all, like, balance out. The ecosystem will balance out. You don't need to do anything. And you're, like, here with, like, a shovel in your hand, like, wait, if I, like, dig around where it was, maybe I can, like, make the water go faster. And the spiritual answer here is, like, leave this shit alone. You know what I mean? And if anything, you do more damage, you get in the way of a natural process here of, like, fixing something by trying to, like, do it yourself. It doesn't need to be healed. This isn't something that you actively have to do anything about. It's like, let your hands off it. What you need to do is you need to be comfortable with the fact that it's going to take a little while for you to return back to normal. Your job is to not rush yourself. It kind of reminds me of somebody who just got out of surgery. And you're, for whatever reason, really uncomfortable with, like, taking a week off of work. You know what I mean? And you're coming to me and you're like, well, I just got, like, open heart surgery and they said that I'm not going to be able to work for a month, but I don't like that. Surely you can give me, like, a crystal or, like, a spell or, like, a thing that can make this go away in a week. And I'm looking at you like, just take the month off. I know I can't do that. You gotta lay down for a month. That's what you do. Do you know what I mean? It's the equivalent of, like, you keep getting up and looking for, like, a medication to take or something that's going to take the edge off, but it just takes a month to heal. That's just what it is. There is something about it being emotional as well, though. If they are giving you any advice, it's to like, not read too deeply into your emotions, because there's maybe something about you being extra sensitive and a little bit paranoid right now, that, like, as an end result of whatever this is, you're a little bit hypersensitive. So the advice is to kind of, like, turn the other cheek to a lot of stuff, because there's something here about, like, you just not being in the right frame of mind, where you may perceive things as having, like, more meaning that they do than they actually do. You may think somebody's being passive aggressive, or, like, double crossing you, or, like, shading you when they really aren't. And this Eight of Cups is, like, you gotta, like, take the high road here. It's gonna feel like taking the high road, or, like, turning the other cheek and just letting people shit on you, but there's something here about, like, you really are kind of making stuff up in your head, like, conflicts that don't really exist, just a little bit. It doesn't seem very serious because it's on the top row, but it's just something to kind of look out for. Mostly, you seem to be fine. There is something here about you feeling that you're not going to return back to normal either. And that's interesting because that's been happening for a while. I'm not the first person, or it's not the first time that I have told whoever this collective is for, or somebody has told, like, that you've asked about the specific thing. Like, it's like something was wrong here. And you had, like, a whole bunch of issues in your life that were all centralized about one thing in your life that didn't belong. A person, or a job, or, like, a hobby, or, like, something that didn't need to be there, right? And there's other stuff, like, maybe you were sick, like, you were physically sick. Maybe you were struggling in, like, your career, and it was all, like, rooted back to this one thing, like, that relationship stressing me out, and so I'm wondering why I'm gaining weight, or why I'm, like, losing weight rapidly. I can't figure out why my hair is falling out. I can't figure out why I'm really struggling at work, why I'm not sleeping enough, right? And so this relationship, for example, it's gone now. Like, it's not a thing anymore. And so, like, the thing went away, and you got some sort of, like, very outright spiritual guidance that was like, the reason why, like, that thing is gone is because it was the source of your problems. It looks like you didn't really believe that, because you're like, well, all the stuff that I was experiencing really didn't have any connection to this thing. And they're like, yeah, literally didn't have a connection, but, like, spiritually, physically, emotionally, yeah, it was. Like, because maybe a lot of the other things were, like, stress reactions to this one thing, right? So you didn't believe that. And then the other thing is that you're, like, it's something about how you used to be doing better. You ended up struggling with a lot of stuff. You don't believe that this is the thing that is the reason for the struggles. And you also simultaneously don't believe you're going to end up returning to normal. Does that make any sense? Like, you're like, well, now I'm just kind of stuck like this. It's something about, like, you don't view whatever you're going through as, like, reversible. You're like, this is just how I am now. Like, my hair just falls out now. Or, like, I just, like, don't have an appetite anymore. I'm just depressed now. And they're like, no, that's because of this thing. This thing is gone, and you're slowly adjusting back to normal. Like, that stuff will go away. You'll get your spark back. You don't seem to believe it at all, though. But I have it here that it'll happen. It's showing up like it's not the first time I've told you this. But it looks like maybe at the time of delivering this reading, you're already starting to bounce back a little bit, but you still don't believe it. You're like, oh, those things have nothing to do with each other. And I think that, sorry, my migraine is really starting to affect me. I'm having a hard time, like, with my eyes. The way that I want to explain this is it's kind of like, do you know how people say that progress isn't linear? And, like, when you're making, like, progress that sticks, it's slow and steady. That, like, if you're trying to make healthy changes in your life or, like, turn around your life for the better, you're not going to wake up the next morning and, like, live a different life. That's unsustainable. People who, like, wake up and they're like, I'm going to go to the gym today, I'm going to do this. It's like you're trying to build too many habits at once and you'll fall apart, right? If you want to make better changes in your life, it usually comes from small changes that accumulate over time. The issue is that when it's small changes that accumulate over time, it happens so subtly and slowly that, you know, in, like, 3 months, you started out here and you end up here, but day to day, you're not really moving much. So you're like, well, yesterday I was here, and now I'm here, and I really haven't moved much at all, right? So there's something like that at play because this is such slow and steady healing or development or growth, or you returning back to, like, your average because it's happening at the natural pace, you perpetually feel like there's no change happening. Which they're coming in to be like, that is, like, the actual proof that it's working. Do you know what I mean? That's what sustainable healing feels like. Do you know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of when people, like, do something and they make a very drastic change to their appearance. Sniped. They make a very drastic change to their appearance, and it's, like, something bold and new, and they'll get their hair cut, like, really, really short, or, like, do something drastic, and then the next day they're like, I'm not sure about this, like, it's a big change. You wanted something drastic. Part of having a big change is that you feel kind of scared about it immediately after it happens. You know what I mean? That's how you know you did what you wanted to. It's kind of... That one's hard to explain. They're frustrated because they're like that. You not noticing and not believing because of the pace that it's working at is the sign that it's working. Does that make any sense? It's like a spiritual exasperation. Like, that's just how that works. Like, if you knew what you were talking about, if you could see things the way we'd see it, like, you know that that's the proof that it's sustainable. It's very interesting. Their overall advice, though, is that you do need to, like, relax and chill out. Like, I am going to advocate for you to go have, like, a margarita, crack a cold one with the boys, you know what I mean? You may even need, like, a little glass of wine or something. You take, it's just an overall vibe of, like, you're very worried about things that are already working out. That are already in the process of working out. So whatever is going to help you turn your brain off and not worry and not think and not micromanage is going to be really, really great for you. Because there's really nothing you need to do. Do you know what I mean? If you jump into traffic at that point? Nah. If you can't drink alcohol, have some candy. Some sweets. A sweet treat. Or take a hot bath. You haven't seen me in a minute? Yeah, it's been a while. Well, it depends. Depends on what you mean by a minute. If you mean a couple of weeks, that's my fault. If you mean a couple of months, it's your fault. If you mean a couple of years, TikTok's fault. Because I'm on my third account. The your fault is a joke, by the way. Couple weeks felt like months. Yeah, that was me. I'm so sorry. I was sleepy. I haven't done a 50% off Cameo sale ever. And mind you, I really hate when I talk about, like, how burnt out I get from my work all the time. Because I think that, like, when I do that, then I get people send me messages that are like, oh, I was gonna, like, request a Cameo. I was gonna get a personal reading, but I didn't want to stress you out. I'm on top of my, like, my stuff. Like, by the day, I have my price set. I know when it's set at its regular price, I know how often regularly I'm going to get a Cameo. When I do decide to do a sale, it's because I either desperately need the money or I've already accounted for and planned for a sale. So you guys don't ever need to, like, moderate my energy level more than I am. Because I took my energy level into account when I, like, have the certain prices or the certain things. You know what I mean? I had that happen to me a couple of times. And it scares the shit out of me as someone who, like, has a very, like, narrow gap between, like, the amount of money that I need to live and the amount of money I make, when people are like, oh yeah, I saw you did a sale, but I know that you get, like, really burnt out, so I didn't like buy a sale reading because I didn't want to stress you out. And I'm like, I did the sale reading because I actually really needed the money. Please don't do that. Don't ever do that. If my stuff is on 75, if it's on 75% off, assume it's an emergency. Do you know what I mean? I don't really have that problem anymore. I just want to say that because I did spend a lot of this live talking about how I had health issues. If I am yapping my mouth about how I'm like in pain and I have health issues and my cameos are open, assume that I really do need the money, and you would be doing me irreparably more harm by, like, not doing things, not buying products you want to because you're worried about my energy level. Do you know what I mean? It actually is kind of like a chain reaction where then, because no one buys at regular price, then I have to do a sale and really burn myself out. Glad you rested. Thank you. I also did some art. Wait, do you guys want to see my art before we go? Let me see if my, I need to do an updated, tarot thing. I do personals. I do them through Cameo. I need to do an updated video, but in keeping with the theme, I always show chat first when I have new tarot cards. Oh, I have an unstable connection. 1 second. Chat first when I have new tarot cards. Oh, I have an unstable connection. 1 second. That might fix it. Give it a second. Are we good? Can you guys see me? You're scaring me. Okay, cool. My service dropped, but my Wi-Fi was fine. So I switched, I turned my cell phone service off completely. because when my Wi-Fi is really high and my service is low, it constantly keeps trying to jump between the Wi-Fi and like the 1 bar of cell service. So I've learned to just turn my cell service off, so that it only is doing Wi-Fi. But that transition when I turn the cell service off, usually it takes a second for it to figure out what's going on. Oh my god, my foot is asleep. Let me grab my iPad. Ooh. God, Zeus. Oh, we're so lucky. So lucky that it's charged. Oh. Sorry. I said 1 second. So I've been working on a lot of tarot cards. That's what I was doing in the spare time. I just pivoted to another thing. What haven't I showed you guys yet? I started working on the 5 of Cups. This isn't done, by the way. Give it a second. Ooh. I have to flip these so that you guys can see them. It's moving very slowly. In the meantime, we can have music. I actually don't want to listen to the song. Hold on. Yeah, 21 Pilots. Yeah. I don't know why it's taking forever to load this 1 art piece. There we go. This isn't done remotely. 5 of Cups I started on. I thought it was interesting. Working on it. I finished... I don't know if I showed you guys this last time. Maybe I did. I finished the 3 of Cups. Three of Cups is done. I don't really have a take on the 5 of Cups. I have a reference photo that I was using. I might be able to find it. It's not really a thing. I'm like, I have an OC that is a really sad boy. We'll get into that. I don't really feel like explaining that at this point in time. I don't really have a take on it. I'm not really that kind of artist. I don't like sit down with a plan. I kind of just like draw and it comes to me as I go. I do have an OC that like really is kind of depressed all the time, and I had the concept of having him be kind of like crying at the bar for the 5 of Cups with the 5 cups around him, because I saw a reference image that I really liked, and that's about as much thought as I put into things, and everything else I work out while I'm drawing, and it's not done yet, so I can't tell you the angle because I don't know. I'm gonna censor this so I don't get in trouble. Give me a second. I also finished the 3 of Pentacles, which is the one that I'm trying to show you right now. Give me a second. Oh, come on. Give me a second. I'm going to have a hernia and throw up. It's making it very overcomplicated for me to do a sensor bar. There we go. 3 of Pentacles. This one's finished. This is 21 Pilots. For the music. Who's that? Which also doubles as a reference sheet. I have an OC that I draw all the time. I do the same bar to cover it. I have an OC that I draw all the time. She's in a lot of different cards. And I hadn't actually made a reference sheet for them. So I also use the art from that card to make a reference sheet for them. Do you have a Five of Pentacles? I haven't drawn the Five of Pentacles yet, to my knowledge. I don't think so. I have the Knight, the 9, the 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, 3. Oh no, I do have 5. I do have... No. I have that one labeled as 5 of Pentacles. It's not. I don't know why I did that. That's 8 of Swords. Whatever. I also have... I'll show you the 9 of Pentacles. Sorry, I have a little bit of a... I've been operating with a migraine for the last, like, 2 hours. A pretty bad one. So if I get a little bit ditzy, that's all. I'm having, like, actual trouble processing. I haven't colored this one yet. I just finished the lines. This is the Knight of Pentacles. I think that one's fun. I just kind of got stuck on how to color it, so I left it alone. I've moved on. And then I'm working on the 8 of Swords. I'm not very happy with it yet. I'm actually going to strip this one down a little bit, because what I have pisses me off. It's the 8 of Swords. Not remotely done with this one. I had probably the most fun with this. And the 3 of Pentacles. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I was working on in the meantime. Did I touch anything else while I was... I don't think so. I think that was it. But yeah, I did that while I was It's when I wasn't, after I did the sale, when I wasn't posting TikToks, I was sitting at home drawing. And I got all of that done. Because apparently I'm only capable of doing one thing at a time, and I can either be in tarot mode or art mode. Oh, I also have been working on a book as well. Which is interesting, because about half the people I draw on my tarot cards end up in my book. Okay. It is 9:30. My head hurts. I did 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So I'm gonna go. We're gonna do the spiel before I leave, though. We can start with the art. If you enjoyed my art, I do a like video update on TikTok where I will like show like where I'm working at, because I make my own tarot decks and oracle decks. I have 2 that are currently published. What I just showed you was the tarot that I'm working on. I have a little video series on TikTok where I go through the cards. If you want to see them first, though, my Patreon is where I post like the cards as I'm working on them. So a lot of the stuff I just showed you guys has been on my Patreon for like 2 weeks, right? Interesting, fun. If you like my art, I have a Void Oracle, which is my other currently out art deck. I can show you some of the cards, which you can purchase right now, and I have limited stock of these, so you should if you're interested in it. Right? That's on my Big Cartel. A lot of the tarot cards are available as prints as well on my Big Cartel. You can scroll through that, right? I have another deck, the Hyperlexic Oracle, which is less art, more color. They're fashioned after Pantene color cards. And this I currently have for pre-order restock. Mind you that like I never know when I'm going to restock because it's always expensive. So pre-order restock is to get ahead of how quickly I run out of stock at things and how like big of a gap there is. So there's no, if you pre-order restock, there's no set date when you'll get it. Just know that you will get it when I have it back in stock. You know what I mean? Typically I try not to make people wait for too long, but there's no set date because it allows me flexibility to like wait until things like go through. Ideally, if a whole bunch of people pre-ordered at once, that would facilitate the process of me like stocking it. But you know, life. If you like the way that I read tarot, we didn't do a lot of tarot today. Also, I never really do in my lives. You can get a Cameo from me that's linked in my link tree. They're usually $30 for 10 minutes. And I will answer whatever you want within reason. I'm a lot less squeamish than people think that I am, but also, like, Be reasonable. Don't ask me anything crazy. And I'm quite proud of my Cameo. I have 5-star reviews. I'm quite proficient as a tarot reader. I have lots of return customers. I'm quite certain you'll get bang for your buck. If $30 is a little bit too cheap for you, you can also like subscribe. And it'll notify you. I also will advertise on my own. I do sales relatively often, from like 50% off to like 30% off, usually in that range. I do them frequently, multiple times a year. I advertise them. I do these streams on TikTok where we do tarot and yap every Wednesday at 6 p.m. I reserve the right to do them randomly at any time, but typically Wednesday at 6 p.m. I know it's Thursday. It's supposed to be Wednesday. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. I go do Sims over there. If you missed any part of this live, I've been live for the last 3.5 hours. You missed any part of it and you want to see the whole thing, I upload all of my lives to YouTube. Usually the day after, maybe in a couple days. This will probably be a Monday upload because I'm leaving town tomorrow and I'll probably forget in the morning, right? If for whatever reason you really wanted me to upload a live and you get on YouTube and it's been like a week or something crazy and it's not up, I guarantee you I didn't forget. At that point, the file corrupted or I didn't have access to it, which happens sometimes if my service drops or if we app too much. And sometimes it's just bad luck where I just don't get access to the file. So I will upload them if I have them. I don't always get them. We've been on a bad streak lately because we've been too silly. We've been having too much fun and the files keep getting corrupted. There's also sometimes glitches in the middle. I don't watch all 3.5 hours before I upload, so you get what you get, right? Do you think you're gonna get a video before you leave tomorrow? I will try my best to. I might not. I'm going to stay the weekend with my partner, who I haven't seen in like 3 weeks. So if it gets down to the wire and I find that I'm like struggling between packing my bag or doing a cameo, I'm gonna pack my bag. Do you know what I mean? Oh, hello! Hey, Hope! How the hell are you? You would find me again at the end of the live. If it was 2020 or 2021, it's because I got banned like 3 times sequentially. That's why. I'm so glad you found your way back to me. I'm still looking for people from back then. Welcome back. I'm leaving, but I was just telling them about how I put my lives up on YouTube now, so you can find it on my YouTube. I think that's it. I don't think there's a single other thing in the world. Oh yeah, I have an Instagram where I haphazardly post stuff on. The longer that I have other things going, the less I find time to put stuff on Instagram. I don't really use Instagram with any seriousness or severity, but it's there. The critical function for Instagram is that if I got banned, it was the easiest way to find me. Like, typically the only people that would find me repeatedly after bans were people that are following me on Instagram. But I haven't gotten banned in like 1.5 years, so I don't, in good conscience, I can't like advertise and be like, you need to follow me on Instagram because I could be gone any day now. I've been good, you know, inshallah. I've been well behaved. They've been merciful on me lately. I haven't even had a violation on this account that I can think about. So we might be safe, so you don't need to do that, but you can. I can't think of a reason why, unless you really fuck with me like that. I'm not trying to be an Instagram influencer. I hate the app, to be quite honest. I barely use it. It's there. Anything else is in my link tree. I have my playlist in the link tree. I'm sure I forgot something else that's in my link tree. I do lots of stuff. I'm all over the place. We're having fun. We do it for the love of the game. Bye. I gotta go. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out. I will be back on Wednesday or maybe sooner if I get the Zoomies, but unlikely. See ya.